from your parents' basement. Come on, let us in. It's Guys, Gays, and Beer!
Woo! So, following up with all these interview shows we've been doing, guess what we have again tonight, Rob?
Is it an interview show, Tom?
It's an interview show, Rob!
This is crazy.
I know.
No way. Man,
we have another interview.
People watch us and they still come on the show? What?
I know. It's not that
It's a pretty scary thought.
At least we haven't
interventions
yet.
Intervention calls in. I'll call intervention. Alright, today with us is...
Chris.
Hi,
And
Chris.
Brian is fetching beer still.
Smart man, Brian. Smart man. Fetch that beer. Wait a minute. I gotta bring it up. So, I take it Brian's playing beer bitch tonight?
He is, yep.
Sweet.
Alright, well, they are here from...
On the left, on the right.
Alright, so you guys are with... Brian? Chris!
Sorry. Now we're both plugged in.
Okay, so you're with...
Bill.
Okay, now there's 5 people here. A second ago, I swear there are only 4 names. What is?
There was only 4 names. We had somebody else walk in. So that's the way the show goes. People wander in. Homeless guys off the street come wandering in. It's typical for this show. So again, we've got Chris and Brian, and you guys are with?
Seedi system.
All right, and so go ahead and give us a quick rundown. What is CD System before we do Beer Court?
Seedi is a affordable new project on Indigo that is a game console that lets you play CD-ROM games right off the disc. Basically, if you go on our Indiegogo page, you can read all about it, and it's a little unit. It has an optical drive inside of it, and the idea is that you can get it and you can play your games from PlayStation 1, TurboGrafx CD / PC Engine CD, Sega CD / Mega Drive CD, and NeoGeo CD. Stipulation, calling it out right here, some of these things in our current plan, some of these game consoles will require you to copy the BIOS file, much like any other emulator that is out there right now works. Just calling it out there, say it like it is. We are exploring options about that, but I mean, that's the asterisk right now. I think a lot of people aren't going to care, but that's what it's all about. And then it can do other stuff. I mean, you can listen to audio CDs, you can play other ROMs and stuff, you can rip your CDs, all sorts of fun stuff.
So do you just...
Yeah,
so just whipping that out, putting it on the table, making sure everybody sees it before.
Okay, so yeah,
Wait up.
we can get into talking about
We'll get into talking about it more now that they've given us the rundown, but we need to start with...
We have beers, and they've got beers.
Yeah, and we have a special beer tonight because in this case, our interview guests have actually suggested something from their neck of the woods.
Well, let's do the intro first.
Ready?
Ba-dum-bum. Beer Court.
That's some sort of topsy-turvy world where we're throwing things all out of
We
order.
certainly are. So what is on Beer Court tonight, Ryan?
We grabbed Victory Brewing Dirt Wolf Double IPA.
We recently had another Victory beer, the sour ale that Matt brought in, and it was good. I liked it, and it was by Victory. So I guess we're doing a double feature, right?
So literally, both episodes that we're gonna kind of mash together here will both be Victory Brewing.
And they'll pretty much be back to back because we did it at the end of the episode.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So it's going to end with one and start with another. So you guys are also doing Dirt Wolf tonight, Chris or Brian?
That we are.
All right. So what we're going to do, the way Beer Court works for us is we all try it. We can make any kind of comments, snide or otherwise, about the beer that we are going to do. We normally just do a simple thumbs up, thumbs down. You can do a thumb in the middle if you think it's kind of okay, but nothing spectacular. We will ask your question when we're done. Oh, Travis, you're going to get fancy on us.
I like
With
smelling
styrofoam.
So he's pouring it into a cup.
You can taste what counts for smell.
I know.
Come on.
All right. So
That's it. Hell yeah, Victory. Yeah, Matt.
all right.
Just
So
pour the end with vigor.
let's go ahead and what's that?
So a couple of observations that you made about this beer before we started, because we always talk about stuff off the show. They don't have the description for the beer on this box or on the bottle, do they? I don't know if they got it here. Darkly heroic, humulus lupus hops have empowered brews with bite and character since the 11th century. Dirt Wolf is a tribute to these untamed vines which rise from the earth with the veracity of a wolf among sheep. Hops have made an assertive comeback in American craft brewing. They're not wrong there. Revel in the best U.S. variety of hops in their natural whole flower form as they bring a vital, pungent reality to the sour of a wild element and a dangerously satisfying Dirt Wolf. Cheers. They really had fun.
Somebody had way too much time on their hands writing that out.
So,
just gonna put that out there. Okay, let's give it a try and see what we got here, guys.
Smells happy. It's a double IPA, I guess you expected.
Well, it's a good thing I monitor appears that the G2B hotline went back on. The hell?
I'm okay with that.
For an IPA, that has a really smooth taste to it. There's not a real strong bite on that at all.
No, but you can. The hops are there.
The hop flavor is definitely
But it's not.
there.
It's not a bitey hop.
It doesn't coat your tongue and not like.
I might be able to drink a different beer after this.
Yeah, and I don't just taste this the rest of the evening. I gotta say that's not bad.
Yeah.
The sour, you guys gave the sour a pretty good rating too. If I
Yeah, the sour was unanimous across. Again, I don't traditionally like sour beers, man, but
I gotta say I'm not big on double IPAs.
I'm not big on IPA.
okay. I think we've got another like Three Floyd style situation. Like they'll make beers that I don't traditionally enjoy, but they'll do them well enough that I think I can say, hey, I
Yeah.
can work with this.
What about you, Chris, or Brian?
It's all about the wolf, baby.
Hungry like the wolf.
It's Victory's best beer.
Really? Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Either this or Storm King, the Imperial Stout.
I've actually had that one. That one is delicious.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that is the case. They
I
just
just
turn
figured it
out.
was too nice to start drinking.
I agree. Stouts
like
are
almost 7
I'm not a big stout drinker in the first place, but if I'm going to, it's going to be cold weather. It's still kind of nice out
any
here.
time of the year.
Winter's coming.
Yeah. It's gonna be fall. You know, you're gonna get into these.
This is a solid beer.
No,
Yeah.
but you gotta watch out.
And this was best drunk by. It's supposed to be best drunk by July, so this is a little overdue, and it still tastes great.
All right, I have to ask, what's the
8.7.
Oh, it's high.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we gotta watch out with these.
Yeah, this is one of the things that
It seems
sneak up on you.
drinkable, and then yeah, it was really good.
So yeah, out of Darlington, Pennsylvania, it's I'm gonna have to say it's.
So, do they give brewery tours? Is our next question.
I have not been on one personally. I'm not sure.
Huh. Well, again, solid stuff.
All right, I think I know what our votes are gonna be.
Yeah, I'm gonna go thumbs up on this
Rob's
one.
pretty good.
Victory's
That's
2
kind
for
of
2,
over.
man.
Okay, how about you guys? Thumbs up, thumbs down, or in the middle?
Middle.
There we go.
Oh, really? Wow, we have one dissenter tonight. Who was that? Brian?
That's Brian.
Fucking Brian.
Brian.
We've used that line before.
I'm just not an IPA guy at all.
Okay.
Yeah, hops are kind of.
But that again, either I'm not a big IPA guy either. But here's the thing: this is not a really bitter IPA.
Like I said, it doesn't have that bite though, like most IPAs
No,
have.
I get the
Yeah.
hops. I
It's
taste
a
the
good
hops.
IPA.
But it's probably one of the best IPAs I've had as far as
Again, again, same thing with our beer. This is not something I'm gonna order, but I can still appreciate a good beer.
yeah. I agree. It's not something I would go out of my way to order. But if somebody put it out in front of me, I'm sure the fuck drinking it.
I'm drinking it right now.
All right, Judge Rob, let's pass verdict on this thing. Not quite unanimous, but damn close.
Take it.
Damn,
Like
Brian.
It's all your fault.
Classic Brian.
Yeah. That was a Brian move. Just gonna put it out there.
Oh yeah, that
Very
is.
seedy. We say it when you like that. You're a cheap seedy.
I appreciate that pun.
All right, Judge Rob, pass verdict on this beer.
Count one, anal in a public.
Wrong verdict, Rob. Wrong verdict.
No, I'm pretty sure that was in the pregame.
Okay, that was kind of in the pregame, yeah.
That was pretty bad.
And
Guilty as fuck.
it is the Dirt Wolf.
Count two, going a hop too far, I find you not guilty. Just hoppy enough, sir. 2 hops is hops enough. Sentence on the first charge is. Oh, what do you think the charge should? What should be the sentence, guys?
We all get to watch.
He's still waiting for that one.
You set it up. I had to hit it home.
I sentence you to drinking.
All right, sentence to drinking. All right, so let's get back to what we're actually here for tonight. We are here to talk about a project which me and Rob have already jumped onto, and you have already described a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and I'm going to have you one more time go over. The company name is Seedi. That's Seedi. really kind of a cool idea going on here. One more time, let's go into what's got you guys going on this. I mean, I've seen all your demo videos and so on, but what made you think that this was something to pursue?
So basically, about a couple of years ago, I got really obsessed with all the CD-ROM games that were out in the 90s, basically. Like, I actually did not grow up playing PlayStation 1. That just wasn't what I had at the time, and but a couple of years ago, I got totally fascinated, like some sort of nerd trigger inside of my head was fascinated all about it, all around the different things that were happening, and the games and the media itself, CD-ROM was just such a huge technological development, the fact that there's a spinning piece of plastic, lasers reading the little bits off of it, just really, really amazing technology that came out, at the late 80s, and there was these awesome, super high quality sound, and just the whole CD-ROM, CD optical disc thing, kind of took me over. And then I researched all these obscure consoles that I'd never heard of before, like the Philips CDI and the Turbo Duo, and I was really into Laserdisc, and I was really interested in all this stuff. And then I was like, all right, I gotta start playing some of these games. So how am I gonna play some of these games? And I didn't find myself up with a lot of good options. It was okay, I can futz around with all these different emulators. I can basically buy all the different consoles and somehow find the space, which I don't have, to use them. And then the more I explored into the available technology, the more I found that I could centralize this thing, and I kind of I was basically designing this product for myself of okay, how can I basically just pop in a game into a little thing and just go with it and have it work. And I did a lot of technical kind of R&D and hacking and stuff, and basically got it working. And then I realized wow, this is awesome. This would be actually useful for other people, and I should try and sell it. And so that led to one thing or another. I started talking to Chris about the idea. Originally, it was more of it wasn't, we went through multiple iterations of the concept until we baked it into something that is a self-contained unit that a customer could actually just pick up and basically use with minimal setup.
Okay, so again, that's kind of what attracted us to this whole project. We're big retro guys. So, I mean, and when we say big retro guys, literally all of us in our houses have at least a basement, a room, something dedicated to retro gaming. I mean, part of what our shtick is we all are big collectors. And I think, like you said, it's kind of cool, but a lot of the systems are hard to come with. Every system you mentioned, by the way, we own.
That's awesome.
Sad.
No, it's sad. It really is sad.
So do they still work though?
With maintenance.
We are. Yes, there comes the Travis just brought the point.
Yeah, and again, I think the CD, initially when I heard about it, I was like, okay, it didn't really strike me off the bat, but the more I thought about it, I thought it was a really kind of interesting area to focus on. For a couple of reasons. First of all, again, like you said, it was a very big shift in gaming, switching over to optical media. I mean, people were doing some really crazy stuff when you expanded, from the few megabytes you had on a cartridge to hundreds of megabytes on a CD. So it's people really tried some daring stuff, adding in big motion cut scenes or playing around with 3D graphics, things like that. The other thing I did notice about having an optical based system that can play a lot of different things you can throw at it is some of those first gen optical consoles. You're looking at your PlayStation, your CDI, Sega CD. They don't read discs very well anymore. Even if they're maintained, CDs are very finicky. So having another platform to play those on with newer technology. I remember, again, sometimes you were spending a half hour, trying to get a game to work, or you're turning your PlayStation upside down.
Literally, when Travis was a kid, he had a PS1. So
yeah.
I'm Travis's dad, by the way. So, but when Travis was a kid, he had a PS1, and eventually it stopped working. So I literally built a stand.
Out of a dish rack. It was like one of those wire dish racks.
I cut the middle on so you could flip the CD. I'm sorry, the PlayStation, original PlayStation over, and put the CD in and play upside down. It worked. It worked awesome.
Well, yeah, I mean, like for those early optical media systems, again, there's a lot of fun around. And again, with CDs being the earliest kind of optical media, some of that generation is starting to get like less reliable as a media source because they degrade over time. So you're gonna need again something with a newer components and things like that are going to be a little more reliable on reading that data.
Well, and even the fact of keeping your media intact. I mean, so Travis is a big collector of media.
I collect probably more physical games than other people. A lot of people do like
right, and I'll get into that more. But Travis is a media collector. The thing is, and this is something that really was attractive to me about your project, is it saves wear and tear on your media. I'm sorry, every time you take that CD out of the case,
you're spinning it around and
put it in your old system. Heaven forbid your old system starts screwing up and that head, those auto-focusing heads adjust up and slam against the bottom of your CD. Oh, it's happened, trust me. More than a few times. Dreamcasts are notorious for that.
Oh, and the other thing too is, again, like with even just sitting around, I mean, like, I love collecting for the Dreamcast, but I have plenty of discs that are just going bad from sitting there.
I know. Most of those discs.
Its whole thing, yeah.
Right. The foil separates on the inside. They only have... People don't realize CDs have a very short shelf life.
Yeah, but again, some of those earlier models, I mean, you're looking realistically on average about 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, and then the CD starts to degrade.
So burn a copy of that.
And there is nothing.
You can do
Well,
about it,
but there's something interesting again about your product. Not only does it allow you to play your original CDs, it allows you to.
You can rip them and you can burn them.
Right. So you can make copies of your original CDs and reuse them without ever having to touch the original CD. So you can create an image using your system and then burn that copy again and again so that you still have the original case, you still have the original CD, but if the original CD degrades to the point where it's no longer playable, your system allows you to keep that game up and running.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool idea.
The other big point, and like about this system that got me really excited is, again, you guys have a very cohesive, user-friendly experience, like right out of the friggin' box, and your price point is just hella good. Like,
No,
I'm just saying, like the fact that you can, for a little over $100, get something out of the box. Upload some files with instructions, and then just pop a CD in it and play.
Yeah,
is pretty fantastic.
For those of you who haven't been to the site yet, we'll have links all over the place. But literally right now, $125 gets you the CD with a controller all ready to go.
Wireless controller.
Yeah, all ready to rock and roll. I mean, you can't buy console for that price.
Yeah, and again, by the time you put something together yourself, I mean, like, you're almost at that price anyway.
And without counting the hours and hours.
Yeah, the hours you put into configuring it and everything, you get something like right out of the box. That's a cohesive experience, which, again, it's nice and convenient to have. Like,
I was talking about some of the guys at work about the very same thing. The fact that it squeezes all out of the box is a big sell. Maybe some people are more hardcore; they want to figure their own thing, but still, for something like this, for what it is. He wants something like, give it to me so I can use it.
Right. Some people don't want to screw around. Some people literally just want to take this out of the box, set it up, and go.
I'm going to say some, I would say most.
Okay, most. You're right.
That's why the friggin' NES Classic and SNES Classic are so popular.
Exactly.
I mean, you can friggin' build a Raspberry Pi and upload all these emulators and, like, get all your own configuration stuff out of there, but sometimes you just want to pick up a product that you can, like, within a few minutes, again, this one's going to require a little bit of setup, but very minimal compared to setting up your own box like that.
And again, also isn't just something that's thrown together as well. Like, so you don't have just like this bundle of like Raspberry Pi and cables like connected to each other. Like, okay, there we go.
Yeah, don't trip over that, please.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I've got that kind of rigged in the corner.
And I like the design on it. It looks simple, sleek, and
it looks
all
nice.
this.
Oh, no, feel free. We'll just talk right over you all the time, so don't worry about it, guys. Just chime right up. We got your volume turned up so we can hear you talk over us.
Yeah, so like Raspberry Pi, Raspberry Pi, we love Raspberry Pi. That was one of the things that we used to kind of like start prototyping and stuff, but like, where was I going with this? Raspberry Pi is great, and if you have a Raspberry Pi, that's great, and maybe you already have all this type of stuff working and you're good. But like, we're going with this again. Like, I mean, it's amazing how much Raspberry Pi has penetrated the retro gamer market. That's one. So basically, one of the really common hater trends that we're seeing is like, this is just a Raspberry Pi. It's just Raspberry Pi. Like, I can do this on my Raspberry Pi. And I mean, like, you can do it on your Raspberry Pi. Like, go have a nice day. Like, that's fine. Like, I mean, that is actually, like, go do that. Like,
Okay.
We're gonna stand off of that on the show we were talking about before.
Literally pre the show, we were talking about the haters, and I'll get into that more later. But yeah, we'll talk about the haters more.
can't wait.
Yeah. Oh, we have volumes to say about the haters. Trust me. So
Yeah, but for those devices, you always have the people that know how to do all that stuff and set them up and everything like that. Where if a device you have that literally can just
But it's always the
Get it
people
going
who
pretty
have
quick.
like a toaster catching on fire that say that crap. I mean, it's usually not because most of us, like I did the not 8-bit though, the little 8-bit console. I did that mock-up for MGC last year.
the Pico.
The Pico 8.
The Pico 8,
mock-up.
yes.
And that's a pain in the ass. That's a lot of time.
You spent
put into
you spent a
playing
lot
it.
of time on that.
So I wouldn't go if somebody was to. Well, they did. I mean, I've also got the handheld Pico 8. They actually released. I'm not going to go on their site and go, well, I can make that with a case I bought off of Amazon. That's a bitch.
Yeah. Okay.
To get it working right, to get
Yeah.
it running smoothly, and that's the thing. Most people who say that stuff, they say they've got this thing, and then you look at the work, and it's like all hosed up. Mine's pretty slick, and that's because it took.
But you spent a
I
lot of
put a bunch of
time.
hours into it to hide the fact that it was a Raspberry Pi machine.
Right.
And that's one of those things. I mean, it takes some know-how and it takes
So-
some doing. But anyway,
So again, besides the CD-ROM emulation, you've also done a few other things on this. So there's a third-party product called the Retroid, which is a cool product in the first place. But the way you guys have integrated
I
it.
haven't heard of the retro.
Ooh.
oh
Explain the Retroid, please.
It's
The
not
Retroid is basically a USB cartridge adapter. So it's a little box, it can fit in the palm of your hand, and there's a Genesis slot and there's an SNES slot in it. And it has two plugs for two SNES controllers, and it has two plugs for two Genesis controllers. And basically the way it works with CD is you can plug it into CD, you can pop in a Genesis game, and then you can just be like, load the game, and it'll just boot right up.
Load
So,
the
like,
game.
It's an optional add-on to play your cartridge games.
Right, but besides those two, there's also a Game Boy adapter for the
Yeah.
Genesis that works fine with your product as well.
Yes, right. Yeah, and so, I mean, I don't know if it would work, I mean, that wouldn't work with a real Genesis, but basically it, like, adapts the Game Boy cartridge data and makes it accessible by the Retroid, which then can read it out and then, again, provide it to the CD or whatever is plugged into.
Right. So not only is your unit able to do CD work, but you can actually use some real cartridges with it as well.
and build a
Yeah.
Genesis stack.
And build this weird adapter stack where you have the CD actually running the software, the Retro plugged into it to run your cartridges, and then the Game Boy adapter plugged into that to run your Game Boy cartridges. Just a
We're
few.
providing options. There are options.
Always have options. But so that product, how much does that go for? The Retro.
I think it's $65 on dragonbox.de, which is a German site, so you'll have to pay for shipping from Germany. But what we've been always saying is, like, depending on the level of interest, we could potentially do our own run of them, and because we talked to the guys that make it, and those guys are really cool, we could, if there was a lot of interest, we could potentially make a run or do a bundle or something on our campaign. We haven't done that yet, but we might try something like that out in the next week or two.
That would be very cool. Again, I kind of like that. I'm looking at your system more for the CD play. As far as cartridges goes and game cartridges, like I said, Travis is more a media collector. I'm a multi-cart guy myself. Now, the reason for that is the same reason why you guys came up with this product. Wear and tear on the original systems. Every time you plug a cartridge in and out, it physically does abrasive damage. I know it's not a lot, but you know something? It adds up, especially when you're playing on a 30 and 40-year-old computer system or a gaming system. So I use multi-carts. It allows me to leave my cartridges in storage, have one single cartridge in there that I'm not yanking in and out all the time, especially the NES, that had so much mechanical movement to start with, and save so much
Did you do that motion again, Tom? Just for
You like
the
that?
audience?
Yeah, if you can watch my hand going up and down here. Actually, that wasn't the motion, Rob. That wasn't the motion. But,
Bad!
yeah.
Bad!
Bad cartridge, bad cartridge. But the plus side of it is it does save. Having this allows you to play the games that you already own, rip the games you already own, and again, it's a question of saving wear and tear. Again, we love our retro systems. I mean, we really love our retro systems. We go beyond obsessed with them. I mean, our collection is just between the guys in this room. We do a gaming event called Midwest Gaming Classic. We literally fill a room with old systems and we let people play them. We like having people play them, but we are always concerned about the wear and tear on them. And the nice thing about this is, for us, when we want to play a game, it allows us to do it without the wear and tear on the system.
Yeah. I mean, and I think we didn't realize that problem that we were solving until we had started doing a little bit more research and we started reaching out to some different people. But that's, you know, like that's kind of become one of the primary missions of Seedi, is to like help preserve the media, help the physical media, the culture of putting a game in, and just give gamers options to keep playing their games for as long as they can. Like these systems are dying; they're not going to be around forever, and it's like nothing else is there. So we're filling the gap.
Yeah. So you actually filled another gap of people trying to play their old CD PC games as well. Which I watched your video of how some of you did Warcraft and the other two, like where you could actually load get it installed and run, and
that
bring
was like that's like an additional kind of like value add thing that we were like, oh wow, we can do this too, and because basically the software is there. I mean, we're using open source software that has licenses that allow us to do this, and you know, we did a bunch of like proof of concept things, and we're like, yeah, like this is also something that's going to work. The one thing I want to say about the DOS support on the system, it's not going to be able to play any DOS game. In the compatibility section, we call out that it's like games requiring up to about a 386 DOS processor. So like a lot of games that came out on DOS in the mid to late 90s require a 486, and you know, we wish that stuff would run great on CD. It doesn't, but a lot of the DOS games do run great on CD. So it's not like maybe in the future when we do Rev 2 of CD or whatever, we'll figure out how to do a better job with the DOS support and take into account all these other features that people are recommending. But it is awesome to play the DOS games. Like Chris and I have been waiting to do a round of Oregon Trail, live demo Oregon Trail, and I played Another World, which is one of my all-time favorite games.
Oh yeah!
/ Out of This World. The DOS version runs runs like smoothness.
Like a wolf?
Like a wolf.
Like a dirt wolf, yes!
Because I think I still have some of those CDs sitting around and you just can't play them on.
I'm on
a PC.
No matter what you're trying to do.
There's a lot of fussing if you want to.
But if I saw you you put the CD in and you might have to run the install to put some of the files down.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just have to run the command to start the program and run it, I thought that was pretty cool. And that was one of the things that I didn't know at first. Like, how's that going to work? Because I know some of those early CD games, like, you didn't install the whole thing. It pretty much
ran from the CD, right?
PC piece of it, and then most of it was.
So you
right
bought
from
one
the
and
CD.
didn't tell the wife, didn't you?
No, I didn't yet.
Yet was the operative word there.
She doesn't know finances and all.
Well, you better hope she is not watching the show tonight.
I did not see her in the chat tonight, so
Yeah.
Yeah, you're safe.
Yeah, so you might be safe. So yeah, again, so you've included that in the DOS emulation on here, which I think was a nice touch because, like Ryan was saying, so many of those old DOS games you just can't run on the new PCs.
You know, who's gonna bring out some old laptop or? Oh wait, I said.
You did. You already did that. So
But it's hard to find some of those old clunkers.
It is, yeah, it is.
To play some of those discs anymore.
True. I promised to yell, so I'll give a shout out.
give a shout.
I mean, again, like, so the software we're using is called DOSBox, and that's free software. It's an amazing program. Again, you just go to, I think, DOSBox.com, and I mean, you don't need CD to do that. You can run that on a PC or a Mac or whatever, or Linux, and you'll be able to do the same thing. But I mean, we just decided, since we're doing all this automation and integration on CD, like, it works good enough. So
the automation
get
part
on there.
I think is good because it seems like it. When I saw you do the demo, it picked up the CD. It knew to go into DOSBox.
Yeah, and that's another thing is they've got lots of live videos already. They've got like 5 out
Yeah,
already
they've
of
already
them
got 5.
actually playing different platforms and just switching out games and it working.
yeah.
That's nice. It's nice to have a cohesive product that once you get that out of the box setup configured, you just pop it in and it goes. It's nice. That's a nice thing.
Yeah, that's been something that's really been kind of cool to watch in this particular startup. A lot of these kind of startups don't have the transparency you guys have. You guys have been really forthcoming with everything you're doing.
That's interesting.
Thanks.
So why did you do Indiegogo versus Kickstarter? That was a
Go ahead, Nick.
There's a bunch. If you just Google Indiegogo versus Kickstarter, there's all sorts of comparison chart, and basically the main reason was dollars raised for this type of product were higher for Indiegogo.
Gotcha.
Indiegogo seems to be catered more for the gadget and tech community. Kickstarter more so for like games and art projects.
Oh, all right. Well, that makes perfect sense. You know, but this again, this goes back down to the transparency you guys have had on Indiegogo. I mean, besides just having a really good listing of everything, including your flaws or what you consider flaws on your Indiegogo page. You know, having the videos you guys have put out, so people can see the actual hardware, see you guys using it.
Again, at first when I heard about it, I got this synopsis. Again, it wasn't something I was generally thrilled about, but the more I heard it, the more media I saw about it, and kind of just seeing that cohesive package put together. Again, I'm on board with it now. Like,
Yeah,
I
I mean, that's one of the things is we're trying to basically build trust. Like, we're literally, we're literally putting our face on it, being like, like, this is it, like, it works, and the reason we're here is because we know it works, and we know it's awesome, so we want to, like, we want it to be out there, like, we want it to be a thing that people use that's actually useful to humans.
I think given the current gaming culture, with Kickstarts and Indiegogo projects, I think it's best, to get your face out there because it's been a rough couple of years for projects. I think there's been a lot. It's funny, yeah, but they also don't cover like all the stuff that did launch and did show up. I mean, you've got like plenty of these that went really well.
Well, you've backed more than a few.
Yeah, I backed more than a few. I backed a lot of hardware, but.
Yeah, well, we're again, we like our retro gaming, we like our hardware, so we do tend to jump in on these projects. Rob, on the other hand, is just completely kind of like that crazy ex-girlfriend who loves her hardware. It just doesn't end well. She shows up at your door 3 a.m. in the morning, knife and dead rabbits. Just gonna put it out there.
Yeah, that's not even ex. That's just like current girlfriend.
Done that.
I brought you a dead rabbit.
So,
you love
me now? Oh, yeah. So again, if for those of you who haven't seen the videos, we will have links to their
I'm
videos.
in Wisconsin.
Sounds about
Oh
right.
yeah.
Yeah, we will have links to their videos on our website as well. Gosh, where was I at here? So let's talk a little bit. So not only does it's kind of a nice all-in-one box and pretty straightforward as far as loading the CDs. Let's talk about the output on that a little bit. You guys have gone up to 1080p on the output, which is really amazing for one of these kind of systems. Most of them do about 720. A lot of them do composites. So the choice to do the 1080 was a nice touch. How about lag on that? I mean, from what I've seen on the videos, I don't see any lag in the play because it's not upscaling. I take it it's playing the 1080 native.
I mean, yeah. Well, so I mean, like obviously, in the original hardware does not create a 1080p, that many like pixels in the output, but the emulators that we're using, fill in the gaps there, and the console does output at 720 and 1080p. So I mean, being the graphics being scaled in the pipeline and then coming out at a 60 frames per second rate, and we haven't done specific lag or measurements per se, but we've anecdotally played it. Like we've seen lag and we have fixed lag issues. Like we've been through different revs of hardware, especially with Bluetooth, for example, where it was like something feels wrong here. This is bad. Like it is noticeably messed up. You can't play the game.
Much better at Mario.
And we've solved those problems. So I mean, input lag is good, and then we get to the point where it's like, yeah, there's no noticeable gameplay lag. We can play these games. We can play Parappa the Rapper. We can play the music timing games, and these golf games where you have to tap the bar when it gets to a certain point, and they work. And then just recently we sent our prototype unit to Sega Lord X, who is a guy on YouTube that that I have been a long-time fan of, and approached a while back about the whole concept and got some early feedback on from him. But we sent him our prototype, going after these things. It's like, do you feel lag with the controller? Do you feel lag on the screen? Does anything feel slow at all? And he basically was like, no. So I mean, and I mean we've shown it to friends and stuff. And again, we're using software that is notorious for its high performance. We're using a software package called RetroArch, which, unbeknownst to many people, is licensable under the general public license.
Haters.
So I mean, we're not happy about the situation there, but the fact is that it is licensable under a license that allows us to do what we're doing, and that's why we've decided to move forward.
Yeah, that makes good sense. So again, talking about the 720 and the 1080, again, we use a lot of original hardware, and the problem is when you try to upscale it, as good as some of the upscalers we use are, there's always that just slight inherent delay. And it can be really.
Hey, have you seen mine? It's been beautiful.
Yours is pretty damn good. You got a really good upscaler, actually.
It's cheap.
Yeah, but
you can get a good. I mean,
but
they're doing it at $100.
Right.
So,
But this goes back down to the point. This goes back down to the
But you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
It's gonna make or break a platform.
It's gonna make or break a platform. If you're upscaling.
Ouya had that problem early on.
Yeah.
I don't want to even relate that, but I mean, it was a successful Kickstarter. So.
Right, but it did have issues with lag.
And it did kick a whole generation of gaming, so
yeah.
I'll give it that. It was.
What are you guys talking about?
We're talking about Ouya. It had some significant lag issues.
Oh yeah. I have an Ouya. I bet you.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
I picked up one clear.
Oh, crud! It's in my gaming room, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We got a poster from the guys that did Fist of Awesome, which started out on the Ouya.
Yep.
There's two of those. We have one, and the Ouya offices had another one. I'm guessing the Ouya offices don't have one anymore.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
I mean, we're not really trying to do what the Ouya did. We don't have the vision of building out a platform for indie developers to have all this content. We're more this will do its thing. I mean, it'll be update capable, so we can put out updates. But we don't have the vision of doing that. It's specifically.
Yeah, I was only talking from the input lag, lag problems that they had early on that cost them a lot of.
It sucked. Yeah, that was
nasty, wasn't it? Yeah, early on.
And my controller had the issue where the button would get jammed into the faceplate, but I contacted them and they sent me new faceplates, which was pretty cool. I mean, they sent me new faceplates for free.
Cool.
They had a really cool controller design that you could there was magnets and stuff in there to get it all to work, but even then it just still wasn't a good controller.
They gave me a whole new set of controllers because I complained about the input lag, and they did work better.
Okay.
Okay.
I got a video on how to fix the Ouya button thing.
Yeah.
Very crude.
But going down to
Pretty-
controllers, so
Yeah.
you guys are actually
It involves sanding.
you guys are actually using a third-party controller for yours. It's a
Glad you brought that
PS3
up.
style controller.
Yep.
So again, you went through some testing and found that this one just seemed to be the best one to use.
Yeah. There's a wide variety of third-party DualShock 3 controllers available on the market.
Knockoffs upon knockoffs of other
Yeah.
knockoffs.
So we bought all of them basically and picked a good one.
I like the fact you went with the wireless controller on this, and I also, going into that, you guys also do have the capability though. So I use things called you've seen the Joy boxes out of China?
The Mayflash
Jesus
or
Christ.
Joybot.
The Joy box.
I mean,
So,
I've seen-
basically it's PS2, Xbox original, and what's the third one? And Sega, where you can plug any one of those three controllers into a USB adapter.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I see that your product
Yeah,
supports
those
those.
are my Mayflash.
Mayflash, thank you. Your product supports those.
Yep. We have a driver for that.
So basically, if you want to use your original PS1 controller, because PS1 and PS2 plugs are the same, and so you can just plug it right in there with no problem.
So you can enjoy your Joy box whenever you
You
want.
bet. If you want to use your original Xbox controller, you can plug it in there as well.
And there's really cheap. There's really cheap just PlayStation to USB adapters, and I mean like the ones that I've seen, they're like blue, and they've got they support 2-player, and there's just one USB cable.
Yeah, that's one.
You get them for like literally $5.
Wow.
And those work great also.
I've used those for
You should
my
pick
PC.
one of those up.
Excellent.
They work really nice.
Yeah, it's nice to have those controller options. Again, I know that the Retro has the capability of using the straight Genesis controllers or the straight PS not PS controllers. What was the other plug on those?
SNES.
SNES controllers. So it's got plugs for either of those. You can either use the Genesis D9s or the custom SNES controller plug, which is a weird Nintendo only thing. But the fact is that you can plug those straight in using that as well. Does it support any other joystick adapters?
Yes. So for example, you can straight plug in a USB, for example, Xbox 360 controller. Like for example, if you have a Logitech, like a random Logitech gamepad or equivalent, you can plug that in there. And I mean, we're using a set of open source like drivers / mappings for these things. So like basically, if a lot of gamers out there that have already set this up, we're using that same open source set of mappings and stuff.
So most of the time it's just going to be plug and play. You don't even have to worry about remapping.
Yeah.
Nice.
But you can do mapping. If it doesn't work, there'll be a mapping option as well.
Oh, nice. So you could map something out if you didn't like the original setup or how it played on that. Controls are important and so on. I want to go into, lately you guys have, these last few days, well I want to say 2 or 3 days, things are kind of bumping up on you. You guys are getting a little active again as far as backers go. And boy, the coverage on you guys these last few days has been quite heavy. I'm seeing a lot of people putting out videos about your product.
Yeah, it's exciting for sure.
That's how you end up on the big show, all right.
Yeah. Oh, you mean somebody else's show?
Oh, no, totally.
Oh, you meant Guys, Games, and Beer. Okay.
2 towers of justice we've got.
Actually, I'm gonna give a quick plug out to Sega Lord, who did a really good review of your product. You guys let him get a hands-on, which is really cool.
Yeah, thanks, Sega Lord X. We know you're out there. We've been in contact with him, and we wanted to get an outside, feedback on it. And if he had seen it, I mean, like, we told him it was a prototype. Nothing's on there was perfect, but I mean, you can check out the video, but things went pretty well for him. The games played good. I mean, like, we kind of knew that they were going to play good, but there's like a nervousness there that something's going to go wrong. But thanks. We really are very appreciative to him.
He really liked your system.
Yeah.
And again, for him, that's something that's really unusual. he's a little leery on these systems, and your system he seemed to be quite taken with.
And again, we were talking early on about the fact that, like, you know, a Sega CD repair job is going to do you in like a lot.
Yeah.
And if you deal with that and then one other problem, it's like you've already blown like $120. So like.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
$50
all
for them to fix the damn fuse.
Well, let alone a TurboGrafx one.
Yeah.
I mean, jeez.
Oh yeah, forget the TurboGrafx. You can't even afford to have that taken care of. That's going to be a couple $100 out of pocket, no problem. So, except.
I love my TurboGrafx. Don't be talking smack like
I'm
it's.
just saying, but you know how to work on your TurboGrafx.
Only because I don't want to spend the money. Because I'm a skinflint.
That's true. He's a cheap ass bastard.
That's true.
So again,
So if I'm spending money on the CD,
So-
I'm just saying,
so
if my cheap ass will spend money on it.
yeah, I am
there.
going to say so. We are for some reason our podcast is very big south of the border. I don't know why we get
Really?
Yeah, oh god, yeah, we get rebroadcast down
Radio station.
literally on physical radio stations south of the border. It's
Weird.
weird. But that being said,
That's awesome.
but just that being said, I watched 2 different Spanish language videos on you guys today.
It has been such a trip searching, Googling for CD, and especially on YouTube, the all the stuff out there is just it's nuts. Like, I mean, coverage in different languages. I mean, obviously there's people that like give a shit, and I mean, like, whatever. It's basically hilarious. And I mean, as far as we're concerned, really, literally any coverage is good because anybody with like some common sense is gonna like look it up and like read about it, and then they're gonna get some more info.
Well, okay, so I'm going to bring up the hater issue now because that does bring up that issue.
Now there has been some projects that have deserved hate in the past. I'm going to say that some of the leeriness towards this project and some other recent projects that are actually good are due to bad projects that have happened in the past. But I think the most important thing to remember here is transparency. There isn't another system plugged in the background when they're doing their videos.
Yes.
Oh my god, yeah.
Unless they've got some really good.
Oh, real baby.
No, I'm not. Okay, so that
Unless
being
they got
said,
some good skills.
literally, a guy called Tipster today called me out and said, "Well, he could be faking." He said Sega Lord X could be faking the videos. I'm thinking, do you know who Sega Lord X is? No, he is not faking these videos.
He would like nothing better. Yeah.
It's like, but that's the kind of thing that you get from people. You know, it's like, you guys have been very transparent about this system. You put out a lot of good videos on this system. You've given everybody the exact specs online. You've said where your shortcomings
It was
are.
really one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on because of because of some of what I felt was. I kind of feel it's unfair. I think there's been a couple systems lately that have gotten some unfair press due to the bad actions of others. Some that we've even had on the show before that had issues, and we gave them the benefit of the doubt, but we didn't call out the issues that were there, and come to find out there was fire behind it. But I don't see a whole lot here.
Right.
I see everything that's supposed to be there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to do the right thing across the board. I mean, and that's all there is to say. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I can elaborate on that, but I'm not gonna. Like, I mean, we're trying to be careful, and we're trying to give above all else, we're trying to take care of the customer and give gamers options to keep playing their games for as long as they can.
Yeah, and again, you're not selling pie in the sky here.
I don't. And again, I for that kind of price, I don't know what people are expecting. Like,
Well,
and this is a very interesting era too, because again, you're looking at that like late '90s, early aughts kind of era. Consoles start to become a lot more like computers at that point. Like the hardware that runs a console becomes much more like what you're using in a PC, and you're getting a lot closer to accurate on that kind of gameplay, as long as the emulation works and there's no input lag. Yeah, some of the older stuff, I can understand. There's a certain nostalgia to be playing, and again, I'm a media collector. Like I'm the kind of guy who has 15 to 20 CRTs in his basement / in his car right now. Yeah, I have like 6 CRTs sitting in my car right now, and I like playing some of the older consoles on TVs.
I
But
don't envy you.
yeah, they're not fun to move around, man. They're not. And I like
You have one
having
in your car today, don't you?
There's 6 monitors currently in my car. Yes. There's no room for a passenger to sit.
What I'm trying to say is Travis has a problem.
But
No,
like,
no, not at all.
there's definitely a place in the market for that convenience. You know, just to have that era of systems that you can just play easily. Like it's the plug and play. It's cheap. It's easy. Like what more do you want for that?
Yeah.
Like
That does bring up the point. So your price point's low, as far as I'm concerned.
We were running the numbers.
Yeah, we were running the numbers.
all right, we put it through our accountants, guys.
Yeah, our accountants say you guys are screwed.
We even pulled him out of jail.
Yeah.
Damn
But
tank.
you guys really did bring this in at an amazing price, considering what you're giving away for that price. Gonna ask, so I understand you both kind of work in the industry.
Yeah, and I just want to say thank you. This is so refreshing. Most people are like, oh, it's a RetroPie I can get for $14, and I don't know. But a lot goes into product development and the whole supply chain, bringing it all together, assembly, getting the injection molds made.
Yeah.
Yeah, with our career background, we were able to make a good estimate and have everything in line to pick a fair price that we know people will be attracted to and we'll be able to build a business off of. So that's how we got to the number.
Yeah, because that again, considering what you're getting, that's an amazing number. I mean, but let's just say I went out and bought a couple of
Okay, yeah, you buy your own we're just gonna guesstimate here. You buy your own terminals, you get your $40 Raspberry Pi or whatever. You get some casing for it, another $10 to $20. You're
You gotta buy a
50,
power supply.
Power
Power
supply,
supply.
yep. You get
CD
another
ROM drive.
$10 on that, the CD ROM drive, so that's
Right.
DVD burner.
90. Yeah, DVD burner, even more than that. You're
Right.
like 20 to $30.
Yeah.
You're at $100 right there. A controller.
yeah, another $15-20.
Yeah, I mean,
And all the work behind it.
yeah, and then you
So,
gotta
and
put
then,
together
and then
yourself.
your labor.
I
So
could waste a whole Saturday setting up some silly device like
one
that.
single
And
device
then
like
the other
that.
thing is the secret sauce doesn't exist in the public. There is the secret sauce of CD, which lets the game play off of the CD,
That
which is original software, which isn't open source yet, but I mean that's what makes it all happen.
Oh wait a minute! I think you just leaked a little something there. You are considering maybe eventually making that open source, huh?
Yes. Yeah,
Nice, nice, very nice. So for the community who wants to support somebody who's doing something for the community, for that reason alone, that they may release their software as open source, would be freaking awesome.
Well, so absolutely, by the license of all the other open source we're using, we will be providing the source for anything that has a license that requires us to do that.
Nice.
So we're obviously playing by those rules.
yeah,
And
so on the
other
GPL
bits and pieces that we want to fit into the mix, we can choose how we want to go about that. But again, we want to do the right thing.
Cool. Again, and that's part of this whole retro gaming community. It's good to have this kind of support for it. And again, we appreciate what you guys are doing for it, because again, you sure the hell ain't making any money on that. Again, we've run the numbers. We know how this works. Trust me. So the product is again a reasonable price. Us who have jumped in already on the backing and who are going to are getting a really good deal. Are you guys kind of thinking about maybe releasing this as a commercial product? I mean, when I say commercial, where you're gonna have a website where people can, after this whole project is over, order them up.
We're just gonna see how it goes. Yeah, we're just gonna see how it goes. We wanna, the mission is there. The mission is still clear. We want to provide this to as many gamers as it's gonna be useful for. And it just depends on how well things go.
Okay.
But that would obviously be great if we could keep making these things.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, you look at the what people go through to get crappy ass emulators. I'm sorry, but to be able to get a good system like this. So again, we do this thing called Midwest Gaming Classic, and boy, something like this would be great guns out there. I got to tell you that's definitely that kind of crowd's product. I gotta ask because Drunken Larry is not here tonight. If we used an adapter, what about light gun support?
Light gun support is an interesting question. So light guns inherently have technical issues with newer TVs, like LED or flat screen
You have to use CRT.
LCD TVs.
Right.
And they're HD.
So it would need to be a
I
light
actually
gun
have- I
designed
actually
to work
have an
like a Wiimote type of device.
Yeah. I actually have an HDMI TV that's CRT.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Early there was.
But on top of that, the software
Is that
that
Jim's old
runs
one?
probably
Yeah.
is going to have some complications. It can be kind of finicky with that stuff too.
Yeah.
As an input device,
Yeah.
again, I've used them on other boxes. It can be a little tough to do that.
Well, here, you can go and buy yourself a downscaler, Tom.
Oh, I had to ask.
I've got one laying around.
So no promises yet, but this is exactly the type of feedback that we are listening out for and we need to learn more about.
Only because there were so
thank
many
you.
good CD-ROM light
Point
guns.
blank!
Yeah, thank you. Exactly. Time Crisis.
Yes, one. Yeah.
Time Crisis. I mean, come on. Those games were just absolutely amazing. It would be kind of cool. And again, oddly enough, I have a CRT that has HDMI inputs.
It's not that odd.
Well, it was kind of
It's uncommon.
it was uncommon. It
You're
was
not
in
that
between
strange.
Yeah.
You're about as strange as something I find in my cereal box strange. You're not that strange.
Sorry, I have to be the naysayer.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Jeez,
Just a
Pat.
little bit.
A little rough.
More wolf.
Yeah, a little more wolf.
I'll run down.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, okay. You can take a turn on.
Everybody is now saying
Okay,
more
so
wolf.
now Chris is the beer bitch.
No, it's taking turns. It's a community thing.
Oh, it's a community thing. Okay, we'll go with the community thing.
Sharing is caring, Tom.
It's like in Euro Trip. It's like, I get it. He's the girl, you're the girl. Sometimes you're both the girl. And Euro Trip was an underrated comedy.
It was.
Straight-
It truly was.
We watched the hell out of that, though.
I watched it in Europe. It was, I was like,
Just
Oh,
oh,
you're
now?
kidding? You really?
I
When you were
watched
in
it-
Europe?
I watched
Travis
it
just
over
got back from Europe.
a couple weeks ago, yeah. I had to watch it for old time's sake.
No, that was a good call to watch while you were over there. See,
All right,
you were in
so-
Belgium.
This isn't where I parked my car.
So, greatest technical hurdles. Let's go through it. I know there had to be
Yep.
some horror stories.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess the initial thing, like I was just talking about, was like figuring out how to like live transport the CD data in real time on the fly to the emulators, like in a way that was going to work across the different emulators and so I wasn't going to have to implement CD-ROM like kernel code like as many times like per emulator. So without giving too much away there, that was like the initial kind of like fun bit that was like stimulating to me. I was like, how am I going to solve this problem?
But yeah, because you can't have, you
Once-
can't drag behind.
Yeah, exactly. And so basically like I got things, well, there were a couple things. So, yeah, I got that working, but then it was dragging behind. So then I had to solve that problem. And then once that problem was solved, things still weren't perfect. Like, I mean, it was very much manual. So like, for example, detecting the different types of disk, each disk more or less has its own signature. This part wasn't quite as hard, but it was very interesting. And I tweeted about this, but at the time we were running on different hardware and considering 3DO being supported. And so I was basically, this wasn't like a real challenge, but this is like an anecdote I'm basically talking about. And so I was basically figuring out, okay, like how do I write detection software that's gonna like detect a 3DO game versus a Sega CD game or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And on the 3DO games, I go to look in like the typical spot where you go to find like some sort of header or like data about the disk, and I literally see I am a duck, I am a duck, I am a duck, I am a duck, repeating for like a lot, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? And then I eventually Google that, and like the engineers at 3DO, they padded their they like added data padding to like sections of their CD, and they're like on custom format with I am a duck repeating. I shit you not.
Oh,
awesome.
Let's
But then getting everything
You missed
together,
on the
getting everything
duck.
playing nice together.
This is level 2 nerdism.
And then and then like also the cost, bringing the cost down. I mean, because we did not start at the cost that would have made our current price reasonable whatsoever. We like really had to figure out how we were going to make it affordable. So, and I mean, we had to make sacrifices for that. But I think the end result definitely. I mean, I think it's still a very like neat, compelling system.
Just so you know, none of the sacrifices were small puppies or kittens. Wait,
Whoa.
the majority of
You
them
did-
were not small
I was
puppies
just going
or
to say,
kittens.
you didn't ask them definitively on that.
Yeah.
They may have sacrificed a few
Just a
small
duck.
pup-
A duck or two.
Yeah, no great loss there. No great loss there. So, yeah, anything particular you want to say about the product before we go into? I still want to talk about the haters a bit more.
Oh,
Come on.
Jesus.
I am all about the
Let the
haters.
hate go.
Stop saying the word haters.
no.
It sounds
I
weird.
tweeted basically when the conversation started.
My
I
haters
tweeted,
are my motivators. There we go.
What the fuck?
and it's a Star Wars tweet, and it says, "What is it? It says,
Resist the hate or something.
no, hang on. It's a classic quote from Empire Strikes Back.
Yes, let the hate flow through you.
Don't give in to hate. That leads to the dark side."
I'm perfectly good with it leading to the dark side. Thank you.
Amen.
Yes, exactly. So, again, what I want to tell people and again, more than a few comments on all of this.
Peanut gallery comment. Haters be hating, prostitutes be giving me anal. Just saying.
Okay,
That's a class.
I'm much better with that.
Games and beer.
Our peanut gallery is the best. Here's the thing. You guys have addressed everything on the Indiegogo page. All people have to really do is go and kind of read your description, and you just every little negative comment I read, everything that people were like, well, blah 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 this, blah 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 that. You guys already addressed. This is part of the whole transparency thing. I think that I really like about your project is you guys have already said where things might be a little bit shortcoming, where things need a little work. You put the videos out so people can see it. You've got a prototype. It's not. I've heard people will say it's another vaporware, blah blah blah. Have you not watched the videos that you guys have put out? I mean,
I don't think they watched the video.
evidently not.
No.
It's honestly, people, just
Fake news.
read a little bit. Watch a video or two. I mean, again, literally, I heard somebody question again whether Sega Lord X was faking it. I mean, think about that.
That's some extreme stuff.
That's blasphemy.
Yeah.
No, serious, it was. It was like, think about what the hell you just said. I was just stunned when it came back at me with that. It's like
Or beer.
this guy who's got, 20,000 plus followers is gonna fake something on his site.
It's just, there's always controversy about this stuff because people have been burned before.
I know they have.
Like, you
but-
don't understand, like,
I
but
think
and, like,
that's mostly what it is. I think most of the time people are just assholes.
Yeah, more to the point. I'm gonna go
People
with what Tyler
just
said.
suck.
People just suck.
That's why I want this, so I can play video games
Don't
and
say
ignore people.
Exactly, thank you. Once we have your system, we can just kind of lock ourselves in the room and not pay attention to any of the crap going on around us. All right, so
I will say that we are planning to do a new. We're planning on a new video sometime soon where we talk about what's in the box basically, and we talk about like here's what we're using for this, here's what we're using for that. We're not going to give away secret sauce, but we will give away stuff that people are asking about sometimes, and we're going to just say like, and we're going to explain why it literally doesn't matter. I mean, like
what's
the
in
fact
the
of the matter is
box?
it doesn't make sense for us to like design our own motherboard when we can we can get something an off the shelf type of a thing.
Well, this goes
And
back
include
to
it with this that'll do exactly what we want it to do. And it's available right now at a decent cost, so like it makes sense for us to use that. Like we're not gonna reinvent
So
the
does
wheel.
help drive down
right.
the price
This goes
as
back
well.
down to keeping the supply chain to a reasonable cost and available. If you start doing custom work, you get the lead times that are involved with custom work. You get the cost that's involved with custom work. Again, you guys are putting out a product for a price that is, again,
Well, unfortunately, they're the slave labor involved in this. It's the coding that becomes the hard part. It's getting the parts to actually work together.
Right.
And I know you pointed it out like a dozen times, and we said it ad nauseum. It's not that you can't get a Raspberry Pi to do this. Can you get it to do it in the form factor and without the latency issues that are just easily? You can easily do it without the latency issue, and it just I've worked with Raspberry Pi enough. I know. It's why we used plug-in controllers 2 years ago at MGC, is because of the latency issue that we had with it, and I was putting the output through. I was actually scaling it down a little bit and then bringing it up through the TV to have the TV handle some of it.
Right.
That's kind of the opposite of doing what happens. By the way, for like if you have like all the filters on a 360, you know how you turn that off and put it in game mode. Basically, that's what I was doing. I was basically having. I wasn't doing that. I was doing the opposite of it. I was turning everything off and scaling it to get it to work properly. And it's doing that all for you automatically. And I'm going to tell you, it did take some time to get it right. I think we did a good job, but it required a whole bunch of crap laying around.
Right, where again, this is all set and ready to go.
I think a big point is compared to a lot of the other guys here, I'm not nearly as big a collector. I have the systems I grew up with, and I have those, and I like collecting for those. But you have like the TurboGrafx things that like, yeah, that'd be cool for me to own stuff. This is an easy entry point for someone like me. To be like, hell yeah, why not?
Yeah, pick up a few games for these systems.
Exactly.
I mean, like that you otherwise would have locked out of for sure.
Right. TurboGrafx is great now, and I do not own a physical TurboGrafx yet. I've been looking for one, but I haven't found the deal I'm looking for. So, it always comes down to that. So
Meanwhile, he's bought 4 Amigas.
Different
Oh, I'm sorry.
Different deals. Different deals.
I'm sorry. I meant to
You may
think that.
have
I
wanted
meant
to think that out, not
Sorry.
said that out loud.
But I feel that is a very valid point, because that is what, like, when I first like when we got to the event, we started talking about this. That what really piqued my interest. Like, oh,
TurboGrafx 16.
things that I don't own that I wouldn't probably go out of my way to buy. Because there's not that nostalgia for me. Like, I didn't grow up playing those. I didn't have one. So it's like, but I can buy this and play them.
Yeah.
It's a gateway console.
Exactly.
Hey, but we're still drinking Wolf over here. What's happening over there?
We are
Drinking
drinking.
some Foster beers.
We're drinking everything here. Look at if you get a chance, look at the video. The table's already full.
Oh, but no, also, like, I'm still recovering from Saturday.
No, it's rough.
They had an interview in the morning, and then they just decided to keep drinking.
Down at the fucking
We drank
Vindicta.
and like
Yeah.
recorded for
And they
like
were
2
really
hours.
beer friendly too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
showed my nipple. That's
They were
right.
out of Beirut, right?
They're
That's gone
gonna
wild.
they're gonna be on a double ender with you, by the way, which is a hilarious name for that. But I'm harkening back to the
No, let's go.
Atari
I'm going with
2600
double
now.
ender on this one.
Yeah, this is a double ender interview.
So-
And double ender.
You should just say,
The DP
Double-headed.
of gaming.
just call it double-headed.
So we're getting sloppy second.
Yeah, pretty much so.
Actually, our
Great
intro
show.
is pretty messed up on the other one, so you guys are probably gonna be first. But our intro is pretty messed up. Yeah,
Magic
but
of technology.
we ended up doing a 3-hour run or something, doing the G2B breakfast club.
I got home at like noon. It was like
It
afternoon.
was
I
the
like,
best,
holy
worst
crap.
decision we ever made.
Yeah, that was a good
Yeah, well, we
Lots of
made a
sound
lot of that.
effects.
All right, so guys, we're gonna do one more time. Let's talk about your project one more time before we take this out. Where can people find you at?
We're on Indiegogo. The campaign's live right now. About 20 days remaining, and we're a little over a third of the way to our funding goal of $50,000. So check us out. We're doing live videos most nights, demoing the unit, and watch out for a review by Metal Jesus Rocks
Oh,
coming up in
nice.
the next few
Nice.
days.
Oh, really nice.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll be good exposure for us as well. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, literally, I watched their Sunday night show or their Sunday night thing on the plane flying back from LA. I was literally watching it as I was flying back from LA on Sunday night.
That's
So you guys, one more time, the beta's not gone, the early bird's gone, but you guys still have the standard package. The standard package is
$125 for a wireless controller and the CD unit, or you can throw in a few extra bucks and get the limited edition
Green.
transparent green,
Yeah.
jungle green.
that really looks good.
Very retro as well.
That was very retro looking. That was a nice choice there.
Angry
Thank
about
you.
that one because I did the at $100, of course, the miser came out.
I know, yeah, me too.
I
It's
did
okay.
the early bird,
I
yeah.
should have probably got the green one too, but oh well. A little late now.
Any
For
of you
that.
guys beta testers?
No, we
I
didn't.
think I'm on the beta.
I did not get in on the beta. The beta was already sold out by the
Well,
time I
okay.
jumped in.
Okay.
But
Check what I'm on.
But yeah, no, it again, well worth looking into. We're gonna have links to all of this on our website. You guys definitely want to check out the videos that have been done.
There's plenty of.
No, I ended up on the early bird.
Yeah. So
Videos on Facebook, and then we're on Twitter and Instagram.
yeah, and there's tons of YouTube videos on them as well. They've got their own YouTube channel. Other people have done YouTube videos on them. I again watch the videos. Don't necessarily read all the comments. Again, I think the videos say everything that you need to know about the system. The people who have actually had their hands on it, again, talking about Sega Lord X, really, again, I'm interested to see the next hands-on. Speaking of hands-on, let's talk about your very first prototype, because we didn't mention that. What did you guys make the original prototype case out of?
When you say original prototype, are you referring to a Lego prototype?
Why,
or are you
yes,
referring
I
to
might
a
be. I might be.
plastic prototype?
No. I might be talking about that Lego unit, which is in some of your videos.
Yeah. Well, we've got multiple Lego units. The first one was made with real Legos, and then there was a sale on the fake Legos, so I bought a bunch of those.
Oh, wait,
to
Duplo
make some
blocks?
other
Really?
Lego units.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So, sorry.
Bring the cost down. That's
It's like,
right.
now we need
Keeping that price point.
Now we need a Connects version.
Oh yeah, there you go. But so so literally you modded that you did your original case design in Lego.
Well, we started with a big optical drive, and it didn't even occur to me that we
Desktop.
could be using a slim standard style optical drive.
Oh,
So
laptop.
literally, I have in my basement right now 30 desktop optical
Oh,
drives that are exactly like this from a guy that was just getting rid of them. Because I was like, all right, we'll need to use these for the beta testing. And I just splurged on it, and they didn't cost much, but I literally had this big box full of the big clunky drives.
At least they're not CRT size.
Yeah.
So at least you can drive your car with a passenger.
And then after going through multiple common sense reinforcement rounds with Chris, we finally sailed down a little bit.
In
But-
size, not capability.
Yeah.
Equally potent.
And then
It's all about the motion in the ocean.
original,
That's right.
the original design was like more or less of a harness that would bundle together the various bits, including the large drive, and then until we could get it into its own box, and then we had Lego Rev 2. But actually, what do you guys think of the look? Very curious for your feedback on the current aesthetic.
I like the logo that you guys came up with a lot. Again, it gives me that very late '90s kind of CD-ROM base, and again, it really conveys the package. Okay, you look at it and you're like, okay, this is a CD-based console, console that'll play CD games. I like small form factor. I personally have a lot of gear, so something that doesn't take up a hulking much more on my shelf is a nice plus. But it still looks nice. Again, I like the green. If I go for one, I think I might go for that just because I like weird colors. But
Even
I'll be jealous of you at that point.
Yeah, so am I actually.
Like I was saying
I
earlier,
should've
I
done
like
that.
the design of it. It does make me think of retro PCs and stuff with the built-in grates on in the corners and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it makes me think of. I like it.
Yeah, overall, I've got to say, I like the small form factor too. I think that's the big thing.
Yeah, I think we were talking about it before the show that it's thrown in your backpack type
Right,
thing.
and you take it with you.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are like, well, I could emulate this on my laptop. Well, my laptop, when I'm at a gaming convention, I'm using my laptop. I can't plug it in to let people play, but I sure as heck can throw this sucker on there and let a couple of people play it. It uses very little room. I can hide it behind a monitor. It's good for shows. I mean,
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was thinking. It's great for
We do a lot
shows.
of shows. We take it and do a lot of retro shows. So something like this is perfect for us. It's something we can just plug in and go. Again, like I said.
the stand's a nice call too. Now you can actually display it.
Yeah, I thought that was a good touch. Kind of, it gives that vertical display, which it again,
Which also
from a space standpoint.
Space standpoint, I like that. One of my favorite things about the PlayStation 2 was you could
Run it
built
vertically.
to do that, and I was like, oh, so I can save space. Because I mean, at that point, everyone had switched off from CRTs and things like that, so flat screens. But still, you didn't have a lot of space to put it because you saw the small spaces, like the entertainment centers and CRTs. So it made it work really well.
Like 6
I don't know when you
PS2s,
got
not
your
one of those
PlayStation
damn
2.
stands in
I
those.
think mine was still.
Yeah.
I know the stand. I just never got one with one.
Yeah, but
I
it still
never
stands
did.
without a stand. It's
Yeah.
just 'cause it's a square.
So,
Watching the
videos,
videos, it does not
do you,
stand well.
do you have the nice intro sound
it's
or
a balance,
music,
too,
just
though.
the CD sitting there? I didn't get a chance to fully listen to the.
Oh, are you talking? What, you mean like a little like boot up,
Yeah,
or
like
like when the game is
like
loading
all like
thing?
like PlayStation 3DO and so.
Yeah, like a
It's just in that-
logo sound or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's just sitting up there waiting.
It's on our YouTube. That's
Oh.
if you go on our YouTube, can you check it out right now? And it's basically
Travis, quickly.
Travis, bring it up.
there's a
Post it right there.
There.
Yeah,
That's
there
it.
you
There
go.
we
yeah,
go.
can you guys put the link into the thing?
We certainly
I'll put it
will.
in the chat.
Put it in the chat right now, yeah. But we will have a link on the show as well.
Yeah, I think
Travis, shoot me that
the name of the-
G2B chat.
I will.
Yeah, CD-based systems are waiting for that.
Yeah, for something
to
to
be
be
put
put
in.
in.
Yeah.
You have to have something to know
Thank
what's
you, sir.
running.
Yeah, it's again, it's between again the logo and the name just really convey the system well. And I think you guys did a great job coming up with that. It's
Yeah,
very,
the
it's
logo
very
too.
cool.
It's really
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
It definitely has the right feel.
You just put that in G2B tab.
Yeah, he told me. To
Yeah,
put
he
it
did.
in
So,
G2B.
all right. So, Rob, I suppose we should wrap this up.
Oh, he's gonna.
Hold on, let me.
Wait. We're gonna blast your music out first, and then we'll wrap
Because
this
this is
up.
not actually a wrap up. It is a connection.
Ah,
between-
all right.
So to segue to the next episode.
That's right. Your episode's gonna segue into our next episode. Wow.
Well, thank you, Travis.
I really didn't like that actually. So,
That's pretty good.
so again, we'll have links to all of your information on our website.
You gonna give them the lips? Are you gonna do your job?
I did do my job.
You
once.
did
We
your
do it
job.
one more
and
time.
I was like,
All right,
"Wait,
let's
this
do
is
it
the
one more
chat."
time.
Sorry.
If people want to, yeah, Rob was not paying attention.
I'm sorry.
One more time, if people want to find out more about your product or back it, should they go?
Indiegogo.
All right, and if they just type in SEEDI CD,
All over.
right, they will find. Oh my God, everywhere. You guys have again, been getting a lot of good media coverage. It's good to see.
Looking forward to seeing Metal Jesus' Rock
Yeah,
overview of
yeah,
it.
that should be
so-
freaking awesome. We will definitely again, hopefully be following you guys and putting up more updates as they come out on our websites.
19 days left as
Yeah.
of this recording. So
40%. You guys need to get
Friday
on
when
this.
this comes out, it'll be 15 days left. So
Yeah, so get your ass on this. It's an amazing project. Again, like I said, as of this point, they're almost up to 40%. I mean, they're just shy of 40%, which is great. You guys had a fairly short start on this, though. You only went 1 month, right?
Yeah,
Just over.
Just over a month.
If you let it, I mean, if you let it drag on too long, then it gets to be sad. So we basically were thinking like, let's see how it goes.
Well,
The
again,
actual thing is, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, considering the short time you've been up, there was the sudden initial burst, and the things quieted down for like about 3 days, and then all of a sudden now you guys have started going great guns again.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's really exciting. Basically, we got between the Psycholord preview and Pat the NES Punk covered Seedi out of the blue, just totally organic. Just on Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday they put out their podcast,
And didn't hate it.
No, he
Yeah,
had
and
good
basically-
things to say. I watched that already.
which I mean, like,
he hates
that's
everything.
awesome. Like, you know, we'll take it. We'll take whatever. So I mean, that was a lot of exposure. So definitely contributing to a pickup again. And we've sent out some updates recently. We made some flyers. We literally sent
We're
out an
taking
update
it to
today.
the streets.
We made some flyers, and we've asked our backers to put our flyers around wherever they can. If you guys want to see the flyers, we'll send you the link. And then
We've got the link, but yes.
they're in an update. Yeah, they're in an update on our campaign page. You can print out these flyers, put them around. We'll send you a sticker if you send us a photo of you with the flyer.
Okay,
So,
I am going to say they've gotten another backer as we've been broadcasting. So whoever is watching the show who just backed them, good stuff on that. I mean, literally just
Thank you.
came through.
Thank you so much.
So,
But I mean, what I will say is, if the campaign fails, that's not going to be that's not going to be the end of Seedi. We have built up, an interest level, and we've got a Facebook page, and we've got followers on Twitter, on Instagram. We'll be back, and we'll address specific things that we've learned we've learned so much in the course of this campaign. So, again, we're just gonna ride the storm and see how things go.
all right.
Well, 19 days can bring a lot.
Dang straight. All right.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
having us.
Thank you.
Cheers.
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 Wisconsin.
And
Wisconsin.
Thank you.
Jeez. Oh. I mean, I was falling asleep on the couch around then, so it just took
I
me
was
all
watching
like,
Agents of
I
S.H.I.E.L.D.
should
last
move to
night
bed.
at 2 a.m. What the hell is wrong with me?
hey, it's a good
I was
fucking
being
show.
very
I don't
Wisconsin
mind.
last night. I was
All
drinking
right,
a
we
bunch
can
of
talk
brandy.
about
our boring Friday plans, or we can talk about something much more interesting.
Wait!
I think we have a special guest on the show for it.
What? In fact, that special guest is
Lara,
with.
Vindicta.
Game Cooks.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Vindicta today, which is a VR first-person shooter. But I think they've resolved the movement problem.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and the mechanics are something I'm really excited
Yeah.
to
So
talk about.
let's just for a second. I want to recap like some games like Arizona Sunshine, which I actually do like the game.
Arizona Sunshine, Space Pirate,
Yeah,
Trainer.
pretty much everything. It has the same movement mechanic.
One of two things. You either you stand in one place and everything surrounds you, or you have this like teleport mechanic where
Yeah, which
you
is
look
like
at
an
a little.
RPG. A bit like I call it an RPG mechanic.
Yeah, and there are a couple of games I've seen where I forget exactly what it's called. There's an archery one that was kind of like a magical style.
Oh yeah, and you can tell
You can teleport, and I got it felt right, but there are a lot of times in those games. I mean, like the shooting is great, but the movement mechanic kind of feels a little clunky, or it just feels like it doesn't fit the world really well.
Yeah.
So this game Vindicta that we're about to talk about has a very interesting mechanic.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. What is your solution to the first-person shooter blues?
So for us, because we're big shooter fans, we wanted to translate a real shooting game. One of the big shooting games I used to play is CS. And wanted to translate the feeling of playing a shooting game as real as possible inside the VR environment. But one of the drawbacks is always the movement system. Teleportation works in certain games, but it just didn't do it for what we were trying to accomplish. And this is when we started just trying around, just trying different options. And this is where we decided, why don't we just find a way where you can walk or mimic the movement of walking, the physical movement of swinging your arms while walking. How does that come out? And turns out it came out great. It was really reduced the motion sickness. You had more control of where you're moving, where you're shooting from, where you're going inside the game. And the further we fine-tuned it, the better it got. And yeah, so that's how we did it.
Yeah, and as a side effect, you look like a nut job playing it.
It's very fun. It's again, there's some VR games that it's like pretty fun to watch. This is very high on the level of watching somebody play it.
Because now you can see the screen, you see them.
You see them run around and shoot. And
Not just that, it has the best fitness. It's the best kind of fitness you can do because you're just swinging your arms really fast and you get tired and you get a bit sweaty and you just get to
Yeah, I
work
never
out.
have experience swinging my arms around.
Throw the calorie counter up in the corner.
yeah. Right. So were there other games that you guys played before this that you just thought, hey, I think we could do a better job at this? Was this always something you guys had in your head as kind of a project you wanted to do, or how did the game kind of come to fruition?
This was our first PC VR game. Before we used to work on mobile gaming. So
Okay.
for us, it was, as a first PC game and in VR, we need to come out strong as a first time for our first game. And being big fans of shooting games, we wanted our first game to be a shooting game. And we did play, we played Raw Data, we love Raw Data, we love Arizona Sunshine. But we wanted to create something new, wanted to have something different. We're a small studio, there's only so big of a game we can create with the small team that we have. So really wanted to choose a pain point, solve a pain point in VR, like have something solid inside the game. And we thought the movement system, because everybody was complaining. I mean, you're in VR. You can move inside the game. You can go walk, pick up a gun, and shoot, hide behind the door. You want to be able to do that stuff. That's why you have VR today. And wanted to be able to get players to go around and feel as free as they can inside and discover this new environment as much as they could. And that movement system helped us do it. Versus teleporting, I mean, imagine you're in that battle arena in Vindicta and you're teleporting. You'll be dead in 5 seconds. Just to realize what point you reached at and where your enemies are relative to you, you'll be gone. So having the ability to walk a bit, hide, strafe, do just pick a spot, hide behind, then go to another spot just to cross that battle arena. You need that locomotion. I mean, the trackpad is cool as well, but for us, our default, our main locomotion system that we created for Vindicta is the arm swinging.
So this is your first game of any kind of video game?
PC.
No, PC.
They did
PC,
mobile.
They did mobile before, and you were
We
doing
did
VR
mobile. We
mobile,
did
right?
mobile VR. We did
okay.
VR, but we did mobile VR. But it just didn't give us the satisfaction we were looking for. I mean, it was good as a first try in VR, but then we wanted something more, and this is when we got our Vive, and we started testing out, and then we ported it onto Oculus.
I do have to say, one of the points you mentioned is really great. The fact that the locomotion system that you have adds a lot of replayability to the game, because you can choose different ways to approach your combat scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not just standing in the same static spot and then looking at a 180 or 360 degree arc. You are like, okay, you can choose to, go to a different spot and kind of take on your opponents different ways. Which, and again, watching other people play, it's, they'll have totally different
I
strategies.
mean, even when I was playing, you can choose to actually try to run and gun. You can literally just hide in the spot. I mean, there's one spot where I was literally just shooting around a corner. It was great. I mean, and the fact that, it was a lot of fun. And there's an enemy I didn't see that was literally behind the door. All I could see his arm, so I was like, all right, well, you're gonna die slowly. Ow! 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 Ow!
What?
But yeah, it was really cool.
So you started with VR games for mobile, or did you do non-VR games to start with? The reason I'm asking is I'm interested in why you decided to move into the VR development.
We did 4 years or 5 years of mobile game development. We launched 15 games on the iOS and Android, but as you all know, mobile gaming is just so competitive. It's hard to stand out, let alone being a company that's based out of Beirut, Lebanon. So we decided that we had to find a way to stand out. Plus, you had VR technology that's coming out, which is everybody's dream to be part of. And we're like, hey, we can do it. We're a small team, so we can do the shift. We use Unity already, which was good because you can build for VR on an engine you already are familiar with.
Yeah.
And we're big gamers, so we already had plenty of big ideas if we were ever to move into the PC space. So it all came very naturally. And you're in a space where it's easier to stand out if you create something good, versus in mobile, it's oversaturated.
Yeah.
So that was kind of one of the
Very
main motivations for us to do the switch.
Hey, it's funny that you mentioned that because it is just crazy. Especially if you're a controller user. I have a couple of Android gaming handhelds that I do stuff on, and almost every other game now is advertising Google Cardboard or just VR ready and stuff
VR
like that.
Stuff
It's
that.
oh, darn it, I don't have that on my. You cannot do that with I've got a GPD XD. You can't do it with that thing. There's no way. It's not gonna work. So
Unless
yeah,
you want
it's
a
a
controller
saturated
hanging
market.
by your face
Um,
while you're trying to play.
And that there's a huge low end market
Why
in
do my hands
VR
feel
right
like
now. In
this?
fact, there's a lot of bundles out there. So
Definitely.
so yeah, it was a good. I think it was a good idea to go into the mid market. But do you think it's what part of the market were you on in the VR handheld market? Were you going for the dollar game, or were you going for a little bit higher end?
Well, how do you mean in terms of pricing?
Yeah.
When we first launched, just to tell you, the Vindicta, the way it is right now, is still in very early access. When we launched it back in June, it was early access. We did a mistake when we first launched, and I would say it, is that we had priced it too high, because in our mind we had priced it according to what we saw the game was going to be, which is multiplayer, more than 15 to 20 hours of gameplay. Right now you have 8 to 10, a good 8 to 10 hours. We wanted to double that, and just a bunch of other features and fine tuning, etc. So we had priced it a bit higher. But the thing is, I mean, at the time that we had launched it, you already had a lot of other similar games as ours, other shooter games, that were either similarly priced or even lower. So it got, even though it's not a saturated market VR, you still have to compete on price at some point. And because you want to make sure that your game is as accessible to as many people as possible, you have to drop the price. So right now we're in the $14.99. Initially we were at $20 at a discount, and the full price was $29.99. I realized we had made a mistake to try to price it as a premium when people couldn't really see what we saw as going to be the final end result of the game. So yes, I hope that answered your question. Or
Yeah, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
What was your path to development? Was it a Kickstarter, or was it a green light through like Steam or something, or did you just put it out, or?
we just put it out in VR. Steam removed the green light process back when we had first submitted the project. So basically what you can do is just either launch it or put it in early access and you're fine. You don't have to green light it. So we just started working on it. Actually, we built it pretty quickly. We started in January. By April, we had the full prototype ready. And and in June we did the full early access launch. And since then we've been working on fine tuning, adding content, working on the multiplayer, which we're planning on launching soon. Not very soon, but hopefully soon. And yeah, so yeah, that was what it was like. And right now we're really, we're looking at you have more and more shooter games coming out, so we're really trying to find a way to keep standing out. Our locomotion system is still one of the most unique out there so far. But we're trying to keep innovating and trying new things, and hopefully when the game and the multiplayer will be ready, Vindicta will be bigger and bigger.
So another thing about the gameplay I really noticed, and again I hadn't had a chance to try it before the guys, but like in some of the trailers of the gameplay, I really liked the climbing you guys had, where you could actually kind of go a little vertical and still shoot. I think that is a very,
I
very
didn't even
cool.
notice that, because in the training part, the demo, you have to climb something. I didn't know you could pull out your other gun as well and shoot. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah, you can
That's
hold
awesome.
on with one arm and shoot with the other. At some point you have to, because you're like climbing and then you have this mechanical spider coming at you, so you have to like stay
That's awesome.
climbing, keep holding on to the rail and shoot at the same
awesome.
time.
in VR, I'm sure that's gonna be like adding verticality or other ways to kind of approach your opponents or your enemies or anything like that. It's gotta be really interesting. Like
The
that's
first time I ran
very
into a
different.
spider, I screamed.
Sounds about right.
It hops over. The first time I saw one, it like hopped over like some crates that I was behind.
Yeah.
I was
know
like,
what you're. It's still
I was
level 1. I know where you're.
You just start shooting
I wish you had
randomly.
that on video.
No, and what he did is he
I
set
was
his
so mad
VR
that I
headset
didn't.
on fire.
Oh man, I was like,
Not get rid of those spiders.
it was bad.
Kill with fire.
The whole point of VR is being able to move around, discover. So we really wanted to add, I don't know if you've reached that far, but there are places where you actually physically have to duck down and crawl through a duck space. You can climb, you can jump, you can duck, like a matrix movement when a bullet is coming at you. So you can do many things. We wanted to give as much of motion options as possible to the player, because this adds to the immersion of the game.
Yeah, that's something that was, because I haven't played a lot of VR. I've done some testing around, but the fact that the projectiles are relatively slow moving and like you have to dodge and stuff was a really cool element that I liked to it. I like how you're really focusing, like you said, on exploring movement and everything like that. And the fact that you still, again, the solution for like actually moving forward stuff is actually just great. Like I thought, like it might get tiring after a while, but I loved it. It was amazing.
It's
Happy to hear.
It's funny because it was developed for the Vive, and one of the things with the Oculus is that most Oculus people, we started, all of us I think started on the DK1, right?
Yeah.
DK1. So there is like an Oculus mindset of where the cameras are facing at you.
Yeah.
So generally,
The
you
front
just have
facing
cameras in front.
sensors.
You know, no,
Yeah,
I do
unless
have
you
a
want to
three.
spend a
I have
few
a-
extra $100 to get
Well,
more.
well, I have a three sensor setup, so I was ready for it. But you're not really ready for it because you get into that mindset. In Vindicta, things come at you for 360, whereas and
So you got
most
turnaround.
Oculus games, right? You had that right at the beginning. It took you a second to figure out. I was watching you. It took you a second because it took me a second to
Yeah.
figure out that where you needed to go was right behind you.
Behind
Turn
you.
around, look.
Hey.
Right. It's funny because did you find any challenges with developing for the Oculus? Now the Oculus it does indeed do all the things that the Vive does. In fact, in my opinion, I think as far as the controllers go, I think it's a superior platform. But a lot of the development that's gone on for the Oculus still harkens back to the early days when you only had like 1 or 2 cameras recording your movement. Did you find any difficulty with that?
So we chose the Vive first specifically for the room scale VR. That's why we didn't go first with Oculus, because this was the kind of experience we wanted to create, and we said we'll find a way to make it work for the Oculus because there's always a way to make it work. For the Oculus, actually, we were used to, when we first started using it, we were used to having the 2 front-facing camera, but then we tried placing the sensors diagonally, and it actually worked. Yes, you have a smaller space. But when you set it up that way, Oculus tells you, hey, something's wrong. Maybe you're not supposed to put it that way.
Wait a second.
We just clicked ignore, and it actually works. So we play on the Oculus and on the Vive exactly the same way with no issues whatsoever. I mean, having a third sensor gives you a bigger space, but placing the sensors diagonally actually works. So whenever someone tells me, oh, I have 2 front-facing, I'm like, just take one of them, place them diagonally to the other, and try it out, and a lot of them say it works out fine after that.
Well, that's interesting. So if you guys got a 2-camera Oculus, try it diagonal, even though it complains.
So-
See, I don't ignore that, so I ended up buying a 3rd sensor.
Right,
so that,
and that's what they
But
count
that's fine,
on.
it's
But
better.
it works
Or maybe
with
that's
2.
what they want you
Yeah.
to do. But it's still better to have the 3 sensors, of course, because you can set up 3 sensors, create a bigger space than with the 2 sensors. But with the 2 sensors, it was still fine. We did not change anything in our space. So we still played the same spots, because we have the Oculus and the Vive set up right next to each other, and it works fine. Both work fine. I mean, of course, you have a smaller space if you go beyond the bounds of the 2 sensors of the Oculus. I mean, your hands are not tracked anymore. But if you know your space well, you'll be fine.
I love your coder's attitude. There's always a way to make it work.
There is. I mean, of course. I mean, you're small. You have to be inventive in the way you solve your problems. You cannot just, or else, yeah.
Yeah, again, it led to some very interesting gameplay for sure. And again, the locomotion mechanic is pretty fucking awesome. Like
And- It's
Thank
just
you.
awesome.
I'm really
It's
happy
very-
to hear that.
When you think about it, it just makes sense too.
yeah,
Like in most games, you have that like motion, like when you're running and stuff. Just like it just like
Right.
it makes sense.
Yeah, like a lot of more modern games in the last 5 to 10 years added that sort of motion, Bob, to make it seem like you're actually running in the game instead of just a gun standing still in the middle of the screen while the environment passes by you. So, like, this is basically the evolution from that like immersion mechanic,
Which is
except
why-
you're actually you're actually controlling the person physically instead of with WSAD and a mouse.
Yeah, I hate to beat on that horse that we've been beating on, but that has been one of my major disappointments. Yeah, I do. I like that.
Where's the horse head?
I know. Holy crap! I haven't seen the horse head since we moved.
We need to find it.
Oh, anyway, we need a dead horse head. How are we supposed to be beating a dead horse? But still, the big major disappointment with me in VR up until actually Vindicta is movement. It has always been an immersion breaker for me.
Yes, and what's surprising is that a lot of users came to us and told us add teleportation. And we're like, if we're going to cater to that and add teleportation, it would ruin the entire experience of Vindicta. And I know for a fact that a lot of people aren't playing Vindicta because there's no teleportation. But the future of VR, teleportation is not in the future of VR, that's for sure. I'm sure there's going to be other ways besides arm swinging. Arm swinging is great, but there's going to be other ways than arm swinging that are going to make people experience the game better. It's just people need to get used to it and get beyond the fact that beyond their comfort zone and try new things. Sometimes you will try a thing and it might give you dizziness after the first or second time, but your brain will adapt. When we first started using VR, we got dizzy, but after a few tries, your brain will adapt itself and you won't get sick anymore.
Yeah.
So people need to get out of their comfort zone.
I don't know why anybody would be asking for teleportation. Like, okay,
I
it's an
know.
immersion experience.
I mean, it works in certain games. I don't want to criticize
I-
other games. Some games it works. But if you can't move, why do you want to stand still?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
if I could teleport in real life,
Travis said it best
That
too.
would
Like
make
that doesn't
sense
fit
why
with
you
a lot
would
of
add that.
worlds in games. Like
Yeah.
where you teleport
It's like-
around.
It
It's
breaks
like-
some of the immersion.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
sure. And like
Yeah,
that's the thing about
exactly.
VR is like you want to be in like a cohesive experience and stuff. Like
That's
some
the
of the
whole
best
point of it.
some of your
Right.
best experiences are ones you get totally lost in. And like I do have to say like seeing other like people creative mechanics like this where you're not having to buy a big bulky piece of hardware that Omni exists for like
Oh my God,
where you
yeah.
can run in that, but
That
it's-
was-
it takes a lot of space. It's expensive.
Yes.
You're paying about $1,000 for it. Like it's cool. I've tried it, but it's definitely between the price tag and the amount of space it takes up, just not really viable. And it's cool to see people coming up with different solutions, coding wise and mechanic wise, that kind of solves a lot of that problem.
so
Also-
speaking of the immersion experience, when
Also,
you're playing
it's
the
not-
game, if someone steals your
sorry.
hands,
Oh, yeah.
it freaks you out, man.
Sorry. What was it?
Also, it was not just for the fact of discoverability, but also you keep in mind that motion sickness is caused when you have a disconnect between what your eyes are sending to your brain and what your body is sending to your brain in signals.
Yeah.
So here, by adding the movement to your arm, you're telling the brain like, don't freak out, I am actually moving. So this kind of limits or minimizes the dissociation between the visual and the physical.
See,
And this is also
I don't
why
get
it
motion sickness, so I never
minimizes the
thought of
This is
that.
why it's a good
Right.
option.
That's
and
really cool.
Because
as
you
a
never live
person,
in reality.
Yeah,
Quiet,
sure.
Larry, it's my turn to talk. And as a person who has severe motion sickness, like I get on a plane, if I don't take 2 Dramamine and sleep through the entire flight, I'm throwing up. Like if I get on a boat, I have to get off the boat. Like it's really like I can't sit in the backseat of a car, kind of.
Did you
really
try
bad motion
Vindicta?
sickness. Pardon?
The game.
Oh no, I haven't. I haven't
get
yet. I didn't
early
take the
enough,
time to-
yeah.
So
But I think
did you try Vindicta or not yet?
I was not here early enough this morning to try it, but I think I am going to try it because
After this, you should.
I did several when I went to Universal Orlando a couple of years ago, and there the entire park is basically all motion rides. All of them made me sick, except for the Men in Black ride. You know why? On the Men in Black ride, I have a gun and I'm shooting things. I'm involved in the ride. I'm not just sitting there watching and trying to stop myself from throwing up. So Vindicta, I might actually not get sick at that game, so I'm going to give it a try.
Also, you have control of your movement.
Right, which
You're
is
not
another big thing.
getting put into
Yes.
a roller coaster, or you're not out of control of your movement. Like if you're on
Right.
a vehicle, then you're not in control.
You're
of
physically involved in it.
Which is why I don't get car sick when I'm driving. But when I'm not driving, good chance I'm going to get car sick.
Yeah, he just makes everybody else car sick with his driving.
Whatever. You can work it out with me.
So, basically, Matt, you're a bad driver.
Well, I mean, I'm not a great driver. I'll give you that.
So I also didn't get a chance to play, but you guys were talking about you can actually move and shoot. So it's got the local motion with the one hand, and then you have the gun pointed out.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a there's
You
a
can
little
literally
bit
just
of
hold
a
onto the gun, so you can hold the gun and run. Then
yeah. You hold both buttons to run.
Okay.
Actually, I think you can hold the
Yeah,
right
so
button.
you press the 2 buttons and you swing your arms, but it's very natural.
Yeah, but there's a little bit of a drift, so you can take a shot and
keep moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's because you guys are on the Oculus. So what you have to do if you want to completely stop, you stop moving your arms and you remove your fingers from the thumbstick. Here, the reason why there's this deceleration, or what I call the moonwalking, it's because you still have your fingers on the thumbsticks, which means it's like you're telling the controllers that you want to move a bit forward.
Yeah,
so this
they
is
have
why we put that
tactile.
deceleration.
Yeah, but that totally works.
Honestly, it sounds
Some
more like a
people-
feature.
Yeah.
Some people were a bit complaining about it, but they're like, because they didn't figure out that you had to remove the thumbstick, so this might be something we have to adjust in the tutorial, because they'll be going into a fighting scene, and they'd stop swinging their arms, but they kept gliding, and they they kept gliding into enemy fire.
I know, that
They
sounds
died.
awesome. Like,
Hey.
I actually assumed that
Matrix.
was. I actually assumed that was part of the game.
Yeah.
That you had to take your thumbs off, and I thought that the drift was kind of like, you know how you slide in like Call
Yeah.
of Duty Ghosts or something like
Or
that.
in real
yeah.
life where you have to.
I thought it was just kind of like a little extra. I was like, hey, yeah, I'm straight from these bitches.
I mean, you can use the deceleration or the moonwalking, however you want. But that's cool.
I was, yeah.
So what is the future of Vindicta looking like? Like now that you kind of have a base kind of package.
Future of Vindicta.
Yeah, what is it looking?
I'm sorry?
What is that? Kind of what are the future plans for the game? Now that you kind of have a base.
Definitely multiplayer. I mean, if you're a shooter game, you're in VR, multiplayer is the next step. We cannot be competitive without it. Adding more content, making it more difficult. Like the future levels are getting more and more difficult, adding more enemy variety. Even to the existing levels, we're doing a lot of fixes. Like, for example, the Oculus game, right before the last update, the controls that we had implemented were similar to the power. You had 1 click or 2 click. But as people came back and started giving us feedback, we realized that it was counterintuitive for our display. So what we did is we implemented the grip and hold on grip to let go. So we're just keep tweaking for it to make more sense to both platforms, adding more content, tweaking, doing bug fixes as you saw today. And yeah, but mainly focusing the main big milestone, next big milestone is the multiplayer.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's funny.
And doing it for arcades, because I think Vindicta would be a really cool game for arcades for people to play
That'd be
together,
awesome.
like
Yeah.
local multiplayer.
Travis is perked up.
Yeah, I was like,
Travis was like, arcades!
Well, just out of curiosity, I mean, how strong are arcades in Beirut? I mean, around here, you know, we got a lot of retro stuff, but they're not as strong.
it's a niche.
Hey, look, if you want to win a fluffy puppy, stuffed animal, America's your place to go to an arcade.
We have arcades. We have a big gaming scene here. We have a lot of gamers. In terms of developers, it's still starting. It just started picking up in 2009, 2008, 2010. We're the only official VR developers who have launched a VR game in the Middle East. So in terms of VR development, we're still behind on the rest of the world, but we're catching up.
Very cool.
Definitely, there's a lot of projects in the works, a lot of other developers going into that as well. So yes. In Dubai, there's a big VR arcade, by the way. Well, not big as in big in the States like what you guys have, but there's a big VR arcade there. And in Lebanon, there's 1 or 2 that have opened up, so it's made its way here.
Like a dedicated, like the only really games they have are VR games.
Yes, so it's Vive, Oculus,
That's
and
pretty
PSVR.
cool.
I don't know if we have.
Yeah,
I don't think Wisconsin has one.
Wisconsin might have probably some.
Wisconsin is like, we're like a 4th world country. I mean, we're.
Well, you know, I mean,
What?
we have arcades.
Infrastructure, we
Yeah.
have running water,
Yeah,
like
come on.
Some of the
Using
time.
terminology, right?
No, an arcade dedicated.
Have you been to
VR.
this house?
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah,
seen
it's like a
really
fucking
anywhere.
fortress.
I get
Without water.
I've been around the States a fair amount. I really haven't heard of VR arcades being really popular around here. I'll have to look
I think
into it.
it's probably going to get more popular as the technology matures.
Yeah.
I think it's probably, we also don't have any dedicated VR. There are probably a lot of arcades that have VR included.
Hey, does our
Yeah.
local one
I
have
mean,
one?
I know.
Or
actually,
like
You should
gaming.
probably get on them.
My parents, not your parents' basement has
not your
VR
parents'
stuff.
basement.
They rent
Yeah.
out. Yeah, they rent out.
One or two.
So,
But it's not really an arcade. It's
no.
Yeah.
Try it out. Kind of thing.
yeah. It's like
That's
hey,
what I mean,
you can
like-
rent it out. Yeah.
People have them available in an arcade.
The side
like
conversation is a trademark of Guys, Games, and Beer Industries.
Yeah. Somebody. Thank you for reeling it back in.
You're welcome.
Well, we're
No.
talking about
It was a nice one,
Still
too.
on that.
I thought it was a nice real back. And that gin.
So, just out of curiosity,
What's the
what's your favorite video game?
Me?
Yeah,
We're talking VR or in general?
just in general.
in general.
There's
I
no
don't know.
wrong
Recently, for the past 6 months, all I've been playing is VR, so I can't really think of anything else. If I am to say in VR, besides Vindicta, of course,
Oh, obviously.
I would have to say, I don't know. there's a lot of cool ones today. I like Pavlov. I've played Pavlov. Have you guys played Pavlov?
Yeah, I have
Yes.
that. Yeah, it's kind of like
It's not bad.
terrace.
I like.
What kind of game is
I like
that?
puzzle games as
It's a
well.
shooter. Oh, okay.
It's kind of like
Form?
Counter-Strike.
It's a puzzle game. It's
Oh.
a puzzle game. So because we've played so many shooting games in VR, like I wanted to try something different, and I tried Form. It's really really good. And so yeah, I can't think of anything right now.
What about non-VR game? What would be your favorite?
Right now, I started playing the Battlefield game. The one Battlefield game.
Battlefield
Oh.
1?
One.
What?
Battlefield 1?
The one where I started playing it with my colleagues at work. The one where you're just thrown into a map, and you have to go scavenge for weapons.
Oh, PUBG.
And the map keeps getting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's Player Unknown's
Battlegrounds.
Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
Or PUBG for
Battlegrounds.
short.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
Travis and Tyler and I we've been I don't know.
Yeah, my kid.
Well, yeah, and Rob's kid. We've been
It's
playing
a really
PUBG
cool
a lot.
game.
Oh, it's so good. It's
Yeah.
very very
I
good.
can't believe, it's such a simple idea, but genius. I mean, every time
I-
my clock work at 6:30 or 7, we're all online.
Some of the
Well, I just
developers
did it
are right here in our
recently,
state.
so-
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
some of the
true.
developers
Out
are
of
right here in
Madison,
our state.
Wisconsin. Blue Hole. Yep.
Yep.
They've got an office there. Also,
Ah,
man.
no way!
Yeah.
Also, just a side note, man. I watched Battle Royale, the movie, like 20 times in high school because that was a really good movie.
It's
Oh, I
I
love
like
that
it.
Bill.
And like, I was like, man, they had a Japanese card game based on it, and I was like, I could kind of read Japanese, but I didn't have anybody to play with.
Right,
And then I was like, on top of that, I was like, man, it should be a video game because it would be really interesting. And then like 15 years later, here we are.
Yeah, like 15 years later, like clockwork.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you need a mod, so it's just a bunch of Japanese high
Basically, what we're
schoolers.
saying is, after Vindicta, we need you to use this mechanic to make a
That's
a
what
game
I'm
like
ambitious.
Battle Royale.
I would have a heart attack if I had to play PUBG
Which
on
one?
VR.
Oh my God. Battle Royale is the film that
Is the movie
Player
that-
You were talking about, yeah.
Player Unknown's Battleground was actually roughly based on that.
A Japanese
Well,
movie. It was.
What would be wrong with
And
a
it-
super cute platformer?
I don't mind a super cute platformer. There's nothing wrong with
You
it.
know? With this kind of mechanic where you run and then maybe you
Oh, you
jump.
guys heard that?
You could totally do. All right, well, Jumping Flash would kick ass.
Oh my god. Jumping Flash was the shit.
That would be. Have you ever played Jumping Flash?
That game is weird. Nobody's ever played Jumping Flash.
No, I didn't.
Really? There was two of them. I can't be the only person who played freaking Jumping Flash.
I've never heard
Wait,
of it.
what's it called again? Sorry.
Jumping Flash. It was on
The original PlayStation.
It was a release game, as I recall,
Yep,
or
It
at least
was.
very early
They had a
to
long box.
on the PlayStation, the original PlayStation.
It was a very great platformer. It was nothing. I don't. Very few games are like it. I've never really.
Is that with the rabbit?
Yeah, the robot. I forget rabbit, robot, something. Robot.
Yeah.
Can you still hear us, Lara?
Cutting out a little bit.
Hello?
Hello.
There you
Oh,
are.
we got you back.
Oh.
We actually interviewed.
Yes, I can hear you. You guys were cutting off a bit, but now it's fine.
All right.
Yeah, you were for a second there, but you're back now.
They just had to take a second and shut up.
Right.
Damn it, Travis.
We were
It's-
overloading the feed.
The character's name is Robert. That was like, and it was a portmanteau of rabbit and robot. But
Yeah.
We actually interviewed somebody who made a
a game that was
spiritual
successor.
sequel.
Yeah.
That's on next. But that said, I could just run around in circles in Vindicta for like an hour and be happy.
Yeah, get some
Right.
exercise.
Well, I'm just saying, it worked really well for a platformer.
I think the best part of Vindicta is the first time you like turn your head and move. Like you're running straight and then you turn your head. Right? Isn't that the shit?
So are you still going forward when your head's
No,
No,
you
you
turn.
turn with-
You turn
okay,
with your
you
head.
run where you look. Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
when you turn and then your body wants to turn with it. So you go. See how he brought it
But it
right back
depends-
in there?
It depends the locomotion you use, so you can. Well, actually, on Oculus it's different. I'm thinking on the Vive, but it's either following your controllers, or your head. I'm confused. Yeah, there are three
It's funny.
options for it.
Oh, okay. So by
So it
default,
depends
it's
what
on
you
your
choose.
head. I didn't even know there was a change for that. But
I I know it's on the Vive, on the Oculus, I think that's well. There's one locomotion that we had added, then we removed because it caused motion sickness. I think it's just following your controllers, actually.
Oh shit. No, because I'm turning my head. Oh, maybe I'm moving my body with my head. How about you?
No, I think
with
I
your
just
hands.
turned my head. I think I just turned my head, to be honest. When I was so
Ah,
like
okay.
this.
You were a little bit
Okay,
worried
then
at
I see your head.
first.
It's possible
ran
that
into
you
a
made kind of this
rail.
number.
Yeah, because we got like multiple levels of experience with this. And, Travis and Tom are probably the most experienced
With
Probably-
VR.
with VR.
Yeah.
Probably me next, I'm thinking. And then there's the rabble rousers who come in and we laugh at them.
And we
for a
just
while,
run into
like Ryan.
walls.
That's
What am
me.
I doing? What am I doing?
Yeah. So we kind of tried it with we kind of tried it with the multiple levels. I couldn't. Travis is out of town, so he has to come in.
Travis
so
is out of town?
here.
Travis, where'd you go?
Travis,
don't
where
mean-
are you?
I mean, he lives out of town, not like.
So I had
lives
to
out of
drive in. It was a longer drive. And he didn't get up quite as
Right.
early. as
It was 35 minutes.
So you didn't get a chance,
to beat the game.
yeah. But
So
still,
what level did you guys reach, by the way?
I'm still right at the beginning. I was caught in that bug. And you were saying it was an
okay.
actual Oculus bug. I thought it might be because almost everybody who had the bug had like a 1070. I noticed. Like everybody that was,
It's very
there weren't a
popular.
lot of people polling. So, you know, we only saw like 3 people who had
Well,
the bug.
1070
So
is also just a really popular card.
Yeah.
you know, one of the biggest problems with debugging, and I don't know if you noticed this, is that it's hard to figure out a pattern in debugging because you don't know what kind of people complain. In other words, you've got like, you might have 1,000 silent people who have a problem, and then like 3-4 loud people who just complain about stuff, and then people who complain for no reason whatsoever.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
right.
Actually,
It's
so far it's been good because a lot of some of the complaints might be, I wouldn't say ridiculous, but like things that we've decided that this is how we're going to be, and then we explain it, and people already, the fact that as a developer, if you reach out to them or talk to them on private message, they're already very, very happy that you replied and are considering what they're saying. And then if you explain to them, then they're very understanding. Of course, online, on Reddit, for example, it's a bit of a different situation. But on the Steam community, people have been amazing. Seriously, like the way we've been fixing things and doing the fixes and the adjustments, it's thanks to the Steam community that we have today, which is amazing.
Well,
But
yeah,
on Reddit, it's a different story because on Reddit you have people just throwing in comments and then leaving, and that's it. It's a bit harsher.
well, Reddit's kind of a troll world, whereas in,
Yeah, a bit. I've met amazing people on there. But some people where they just come in, give a comment, and then leave, but you can't really get more out of them.
yeah, and in Steam, you're pretty much tied to your name, so you
Yeah,
kind of have to
very
back up
true.
what you're saying in the commentary, unlike Reddit, where you can have 3 or 4 accounts for trolling.
Just 3 or 4?
All right, if you're Tyler, you have like 10 troll accounts getting canceled for what you're saying.
They're just all harassing Rob. That's all they're for.
All right, so what do you think? Let's get down to the final questions here. Number 1, what do you think is the hardest part about developing in VR? Because you guys have been doing it for a while.
The hardest part is one, I'm not going to go into the technical, but just in terms of like knowing what's next, what's the next big thing, and making sure that you're ahead of that. Because as I was saying, the most important thing in gaming is finding a way to stand out, particularly if you're a small team with a small budget that you're working on for a game. So you can't spend a year working on a game. If we spent a year, we could make an amazing game, but you are limited with time. So you want to make sure to focus on the most important thing. On Vindicta, we did the right thing, which is the locomotion. But now after Vindicta, what's next? What's the next game that people are going to want? People are going to move on beyond shooter. So what's that next title that people are just going to grab on and are going to want to play? So that's one of the main challenges.
I'm telling
like
you,
what comes next?
We've already thrown you something. You gotta check out that.
Wait, what's the name again? I'm going to write it down.
It's Jumping Flash, and it's guaranteed to make
Jumping
people nauseous.
Flash.
It's gonna be in VR. I think it would just make people go, "Oh my god."
It's a very weird
I'll
game. It's
put your
very
name
good.
in the credits. No, I'm just kidding. I'll look it up definitely.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so next question is graphical direction. What is the
Yes.
inspiration for the graphical direction you went? It's a little bit Halo, in my opinion. It's not a lot though. A little bit Murder Miners, which is Halo. So, what was the graphical direction? What was your what you
Hello?
think was your main? Oh, sorry, you're cutting out.
Wait, you?
I was
No,
asking.
that's okay. You were asking me about the art direction of Vindicta?
Yes, exactly.
I mean, when we first started off, the idea was that it would be I don't know if you guys have read the background story of Vindicta, but basically you're infantry agent infiltrating UV Industries to destroy an army that's out to take down an army out to destroy the world, etc. So basically, at the beginning when we first started, we wanted it to be like a serious shooter game. But at the same time, we wanted it to be fun. We didn't want it to be a raw data. We didn't want it to be any of those other a bit dark, serious dead effect kind of games. So we decided, even though the story is going to be a bit serious, we still wanted it to be fun. And so you can feel a bit, and if you look at the robots, they are scary. The spider... the mechanical spiders are scary, but it's a bit more arcade feel if you look at the art direction.
I think that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean we've been adjusting. I mean we didn't want it to be too dark. We wanted it to be fun. We wanted the robots to be serious but still fun. So we kind of went with that.
More of an arcadey feel, I think. It's not really an arcade game per se, but it's kind of got an arcade.
The
with
colors,
the combos,
the characters are. Sorry?
with the combos and the palette that's used in it, like the color, the color. Almost a Halo Arena. Halo Arena. Have another drink, Rob.
Use your words.
You guys have been talking about
Unreal
it so
Arena.
much. After I'm done, I'm going for a gin and tonic.
Hey!
We did it, guys.
Don't even start. Locally, we call it Dick and Tonic. For completely, I'm not.
Because it makes Rob an asshole. That's why he turns into a dick.
That's true.
That's absolutely not the reason.
That's not the reason at all. No.
Wait, as
No.
long as we're on out, do
No.
you drink beer? And if so, what's your favorite beer?
Or are there any
Me?
beers from
Yeah,
there?
do you drink beer?
Oh yeah, I don't hate me for saying that, but I'm not a big beer drinker. I'm more of a gin more of a gin person.
Okay.
But if I am to choose beer, we have a local beer that's called Almanza. That's really good. But we also have Heineken. We have all beers from all over the world. But I love local beer.
Yeah, actually, at some points we've considered changing the name to Guys, Games, and Gins. So.
We are drinking gin and juice at 10 a.m. on a Saturday, so.
But we're drinking beer.
Living
too.
the thug
Yeah.
life.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm drinking beer, so I'm keeping it going.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Way to go, brother. Okay, so number one, what is your website if people want to check you guys out?
If you guys want to go on the Vindicta website, our company website is old. We're working on a new one, so right now there's nothing much to see. So go on vindictagame.com, and there you can get more information. Or actually on our Facebook page as well, and our Twitter for Vindicta Game, we're pretty active on there. So this is where we share most of the information. Or on the Steam page, the Vindicta Steam page. No, I'm just kidding. That's it.
Also, price point is $15. We've got a link out on the podcast version of this. There will be a link in the description. There's a link out in the chat room right now. And I want to thank you very much for coming on. We're about to head into beer court here.
Thank you for having me, guys. It was
thank
nice
you.
meeting you all.
All right, thank you. Very nice meeting
Cheers!
Cheers.
Take care. Cheers.
Have a great evening.
you. All right, have a good one.
Have a nice day. Bye.
You
Bye.
too.
Bye.
Bye, thanks. And that's Skype for you. And it's time for... Oh,
Oh, he wasn't ready here.
Wait!
Oh,
It's time for beer court!
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da.
Da-da-da-da-da. You keep saying
Court
reverse beer court, and I think about butt chugging. So you guys gotta stop that.
Wait, that's not. Wait, we're not blood chugging this. Damn it!
Fuck, Travis.
I lubed up for nothing.
All right.
Okay,
So,
so
who bring this in? What's the explanation?
I brought today's beer.
To punish us.
Yes, to punish you all for not liking sour beer.
Oh.
No, I basically just went to the liquor store and looked for a company that I liked, and then looked to see if they had a sour beer, and they just happened to have 2 6-packs of this Sour Monkey, which is this is from Victory Brewing Company in Downingtown, Pennsylvania.
I would like to throw one thing out.
Yes.
It's called Sour Monkey, but there is no monkey on the bottle or box, and I am very
And
disappointed.
there's no monkey inside of the beer.
Correct.
So
It's
monkey free.
it is a sour version of their Golden Monkey wheat beer.
Is there any monkey in that beer?
I don't believe so.
Those
I'm
are
sorry.
monkeys.
I'm very sorry.
Is this the one that's
That's
considered
an eye
real life?
with a tail.
Victory
No,
is. I think we've had them on our show before. We've done a beer from this brewery.
From
Victory, yeah.
And don't they do like some
I've
charity
seen
or something like that? Or?
Yeah. I mean, they might. All I did was read
That's
a
all I
click
see.
about us blurb so I could figure out where they were from. Because I've had their beers before. Their Imperial Stout is fucking fantastic. They've got an Imperial Ale as well. It's also very good.
It's 9.5%.
Yeah, no, it's a
Yeah,
sour
it's gonna be a
ale
bit.
that's
It's
almost
gonna be a
10%, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, we have to
I
still
and full disclosure, I've not had this one before. I was like,
So
that
you
was really
might
good.
be
I like
punishing
Victory.
us.
So I might be punishing us and myself.
Alright, so this sour I can't even pronounce this
I
word.
can't either.
Brettanomyces fermented triple puts a tastily tart twist on Golden Monkey's sweet fruity essence with its sharp citrus-laden tang.
Yes,
We'll see if that's true.
You know,
it is an ale.
these morning podcasts.
Yeah, I don't know about the morning podcast.
What?
Get a little weird.
Nothing.
Well, it's a good way to start out the day.
I'm gonna drink it from a cup.
It might not have been a wise idea to throw in the gin. I'm just saying.
That's actually not bad. I like that.
I don't like the smell of it.
Really?
No, the smell is no good.
Yeah.
Wait, are you drinking
But
the
take a
beer
sip.
out of a fucking
So I can
styrofoam
smell
cup?
it fully.
Yeah, no, he's
That's
No,
way
styrofoam fucks it up.
that's a
No,
perfectly
You
valid
should
way
use
to drink
glass. No, it is not. Styrofoam is not valid. You
should
need to
drink
use
it out of
glass,
a-
like classy ass.
I think we need a ruling on this.
You know, the G2B kitchen
Fine.
does have glass. And by the way, there
But
is
it's
a
all the way
G2B
over
kitchen.
there.
That
But-
is.
Alright,
There's
well,
a real
over
G2B
here.
kitchen, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It tastes better out of
sweet.
glass.
What is G2B cooking?
I know, we gotta do that.
It's
Yeah,
It's drunken cooking.
we have
And
kind of a
how
problem
quickly can
because
you burn it?
the G2B
That's why all
kitchen
we
has
have
a
is a microwave.
microwave and a...
A convection oven?
and a hot.
No, we don't have a convection oven. We've got a
Toaster oven.
A pizza oven, yeah, a toaster oven. A really
Well, a pizza oven or a toaster oven? They're different.
toaster.
They
oven.
have both.
Well, we have both, but
Yeah.
the one's in the garbage.
Because you can do
so-
real
it's
cooking.
on
in
the
the
Back to
garbage.
the subject at hand.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
beer.
sorry. Beer.
Beer.
I mean, like, I personally don't like this, but I can see why people would enjoy sour ales.
See, this is kind of like the.
This isn't bad.
And that's
No,
that's
not
that's
bad.
fine.
Yeah,
This actually
it
turned
is-
out to be a really good sour beer to give to you guys because it's not a punch you in the mouth sour beer, which is the kind of sour beer that I enjoy.
So you're the worst.
Yes, I am.
Wait, round two.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, welcome to Beer Court. I think she accidentally called.
Butt dial! Hooray!
Yeah, I mean,
I
either
don't
that,
even butt that
either that or
last
she
name.
wanted to let us know that she's getting a gin and tonic.
But I do have to say, this is like drinking a liquid warhead.
Yeah.
Which is why sour
Yeah.
beer is
Oh,
awesome.
warheads were amazing!
Yes.
They're gone? You can't get them anymore?
I don't know.
I mean, no, they're still around.
Oh,
It's just-
okay.
I kind of want to go get some now.
Yeah, right. So this one is not punch you in the mouth sour, but it's got a nice tart finish to it. You can still
Yeah.
taste some of the wheat. You can still taste some of the sweetness, but it's
This
got
is
a nice
better
little
than
kick.
this. 100%.
And
I don't
now
know.
to try it as a beer mosa.
I think it's
I
gonna
bet
be
it'd be
really
good.
good.
No?
I bet
That
it would be
sour
good
wheat beer with
also.
orange juice. That sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, kind of sour, sweet.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yep, I could have told you that.
Okay.
Oh, I know.
Hand me the orange juice. I'm trying this.
Beer mosas are great.
Okay,
are.
so question from the audience. Oh, jeez. Why do we stream over to
Twitch?
Yeah, why do we do Twitch?
I just knew it was Twitch, didn't
Yeah, I know, right? The minute I go, Jesus Christ.
Wait, was that the
Facebook is never bad.
What was?
That's 'cause
was
those
that
people
the?
we know.
Was that the question?
Yeah.
Why do we
Why
stream
not?
to Twitch?
Why not both?
No, the question was, who can clap their hands the fastest?
Well, I mean, probably none of us, frankly.
I'm gonna go with
Alright, so
Travis.
I don't have that kind of muscle control. Sorry.
So here's a note. Now usually we have like several rungs of control on the podcast. And
That's good.
this is a little internal thing.
Rungs of control.
Rungs of control. We have like
I don't want to make one.
me, I usually keep things pretty stiff, and then we have
Yeah,
Tom as the
Yeah.
second rung, and then we have Travis operating as the third rung of control. Unfortunately, the primary rung has now drank way too fucking much.
It's only been an hour.
And with only one sub rung of control, this goddamn podcast
Spiraling.
is
It's off the
three
rails.
shots on fire, bitches.
So
All right,
We're
so
three
let's talk-
sheets to the
So
whole shit.
the engine is running at full speed.
Damn right,
But
and
it's-
we're headed
it is
right towards the
rudderless.
mountain.
We're headed to Vertiform
Right to the
City.
mountain.
Off the rails on a
TNG
crazy
deep
train.
cut. Y'all who understood that, you're cool.
The good news is we made it through the interview pretty well. So
We did beer
now,
court at the end, which was a smart decision. In retrospect.
I
You know, the reversal beer court.
I like how we're all just enjoying our beer and shooting the shit. Like, that's how you know it's like a nice, easy drinking beer for the most part, because nobody's like, eh. Everyone's like, oh, that's pretty good. Let's bullshit now.
We're sorry.
I don't know, that's fine. It's fucking
Yeah, sour beers make for great beer mimosas.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
seriously, I'm amazed at how good this is.
Yeah.
Like this is really good.
Oh, it makes sense.
Yeah, shit.
I finally found a way for Travis to enjoy sour beers with me. And all we have to do is get a jug of orange juice, and he's good to go.
Like that is really good.
Yeah, man, I would drink
Oh, it
this
hasn't
every
come
lunch.
up. Are you guys drinking pulp-free orange juice?
That's pulp free. I think
I prefer pulp.
that's probably closer to orange drink than it. No, it's actually orange juice.
It's
Orange
pasteurized
drink.
orange juice from
Drink.
Roundy's.
It's pretty good.
AKA Kroger.
Pretty good. I was catching up on Kroger.
AKA you mean
enthusiasm last
Kroger?
night.
Matt, you mean AKA Kroger Light?
Yes, Kroger. Well, Kroger doesn't own them now.
That's
so-
why I'm saying Kroger Light.
Right, it is Kroger.
They haven't changed much, but
Oh, now we're just
They
into the
they
weeds.
did change
Oh, man.
the POS system.
How terrible.
oh, that's why they
Bring this train to some
How,
sort of
how
celebration.
terrible round.
I am lost, and I'm sitting there talking to the
Mutiny!
Vindicta.
Mutiny!
All right, so I'm supposed to make some kind of comment about the beer, and I'm gonna say number one, pretty good. I gotta say, I generally
Drinking it straight is.
yeah.
Okay, even though this isn't a beer
I'm
that
actually
I wouldn't
gonna give it
order and drink,
It's a good
it's
beer.
good.
I would
I've
have a
actually
couple
ordered
of attempts at
I-
a sour beer.
Well, I could drink one, but I don't think I'd drink more than that.
Well, yeah,
I would drink
10
like
would be
4.
tough.
I've tried a couple of attempts at sour beer before, and I have to say this is the first one that I've actually liked.
This is the best
And I
one.
love
Yeah.
sour stuff. Like give me a sour gummy bear. Give me a
Sure.
Yeah, I used
sour
to love
power.
Shock
Throw
Tarts.
that shit down. Yeah, damn right. and I've never. This is probably the
They
first one I've
renamed
actually
it.
thought
The only-
this captures the spirit of it in a beer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The bummer
I
with
would
the sour
agree.
beers is if somebody hands you one, they don't tell you it's a sour beer, you think there's something.
Yeah. You're like, what the fuck?
And is this the Eye of Illuminati, do you think? Or
Illuminati
is it,
confirmed.
It is from
Illuminati
Pennsylvania.
confirmed. Halfway through confirmed.
So if you like this one, Palm Tavern on Kinnikinnick, just north of Oklahoma, and Milwaukee has.
Wait,
like,
are we in
5
Oklahoma or Milwaukee, damn it?
Take it
Well,
on.
I have not had a mic malfunction. We haven't had a mic malfunction in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just real quickly before we get taken out, that bar has a bunch of really good sour beers.
Before we
on
get
tap right
taken
now.
out.
If you want to try more, head up there. It's
Someone
Try
come
it
in and
first.
kill
Try it
us.
first. Kill on sight.
He went up to headbang in silence. Alright, that's cute. Alright, anyway. Ah, shit.
We
All
held
right,
this
so-
together for like 40 minutes. That's all we can do, guys.
yeah,
Saturday.
I mean, with this much gin on the table.
Alright, so the idea was, hey, let's have a nice breakfast thing. I bought, we brought some nice breakfast items. Let's let's have some orange juice, and
We
And
could-
I thought-
but
gin would help.
You know what would be good with the orange juice?
It's
Yeah.
deteriorating
It's
quickly.
really good.
I think we actually lost Tom.
Honestly,
I'll be honest.
He's just
been drinking
jealous.
too.
He's been drinking all morning.
Well, yeah,
That
that's not
interview
my
was
problem.
fun.
That was a good interview. She was
Yeah.
she was super cool.
Grace was great for being from Lebanon, but she did say she lived in California for a while too. So
I forgot that land
Yeah.
existed.
All
All
right. I
right.
mean, I wasn't gonna comment on it because like anyone who can speak more than one language is like 3 times smarter than me.
Yeah,
100%.
I was like, oh yeah, I know some English and a tiny bit of Japanese.
Yeah, that's right.
I can say 4 words in Spanish.
I can
One of
say,
them is
"Como
baño."
estás?"
Which is
So,
an
yeah.
important
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bentley
done
Seca.
day, and it's a whole sentence.
I've learned. way
All right.
more
I
before.
keep being from the
Bolígrafo. I know that. That's pen.
It's not even.
All right, that's it. It's time to call judgment.
Order in the court.
Order in the court.
Oh, watch out for the PBR.
It's empty. Please, I drank everything around me.
I think we're all gonna take a nap after this.
Count one.
This is a great
All right, 'cause
episode.
we're still in beer
I
court.
think they should do
We're
some
still
live
recording.
gameplay of real playing Vindicta after a few of the most.
Oh god.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's
Like
legit.
it's 10:30 at
Fucking chill. I swear to God.
Can't tell time in this basement. Might as well.
Hyper local. Who the hell's writing? Who the hell's got the G2B gavel right now? All right. Count one.
It's in your hand, Rob.
Count one. Count one of being sour and sad.
Yeah.
I find you not guilty. You are not sour and sad. You are sour and a dirty bitch. Count
Sour and
two.
Sexy.
It's not monkey sweat.
Look, he's got a big
I mean,
eye.
maybe it is. Maybe that's maybe
It's
that's
guilty.
Count two. Count two. Lewd and lascivious monkey love in public. I find you guilty. Continue drinking. Wait, what did I sentence him to?
drinking.
For making a great beer mosa.
Oh hell yeah! Count 3 of making a great beer mosa. I
Yep.
find you guilty.
Guilty as
Guilty
fuck.
as fuck. Yeah.
All right. That ends yet another episode of Guys, Games, and Beer. You can check us out at www.guysgamesandbeer.net. On Twitter, you can catch us at Guys, Games, Beer. Don't forget, on Facebook, everything is going on. Everything. Free games.
Everything.
Bunch of us talking crap. www.facebook.com/guys,
We'll
games,
point
and
out
beer.
painted systems.
What?
You know, systems that people have horribly defaced by.
Oh yeah, horribly defaced system. Yeah, that was last week. Last week's main topic was horribly defaced systems. Oh god, dude, that Earl Schreiber.
We talked about that on 2 shows.
That
now.
was bad. Did we?
Yes.
We
Yes.
talked about that?
Yes.
You know, it means
Well, we
that much.
usually don't. We record once a week.
You had to
We
explain to me
record
what
3
Earl
times
Stride
this
was.
week.
I mean,
I was there. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if we're fair to ourselves, we're still technically in this week, so like it's like one giant mega episode in 2 parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3
Hey,
parts.
that
Weekend
It's
is
like
separate.
It's an odyssey of.
We've had
of
3
podcasts.
shows
like
this week.
It's like a fucking Star Trek
Oh,
two-parter in
dude.
the middle of a season.
All right. Hey.
Third show this
All right. Before we wrap this up, my God, here's a question for the peanut
You need to
gallery.
really kill
Peanut
this.
gallery.
Admit to the last time you fact.
20
20 minutes. Like right under the
You
table.
guys weren't paying
Oh,
attention.
God.
Come on, yeah.
Right,
Right now.
under the table.
Right now.
I'm
Come on,
guessing,
Travis.
guessing that one came from Twitch, huh?
Yeah, of course.
Sooner than you would have thought. Yeah.
Thursday.
That is a long
On a
time.
Tuesday.
Again, right now.
Look at that sexy bastard.
Yeah.
Let it die. Tom says let it
Put
die.
it to pasture.
Sorry, Rung 2, you're gone, buddy. All
You
right,
can't
now-
control us.
You're not my dad. You're his dad, but you're not here.
Who's your daddy?
Damn it, I
Who's your daddy, Travis? Admit to it. Who's your daddy?
Skyboy.
I
All
have
right.
the weirdest bow
And I always thought I was a rung, but apparently I'm one of the crazy
No,
electrons you're trying to.
Do you think you're a rung?
Yeah.
You're like a fucking chainsaw, Larry. You're just a chainsaw that cuts through all the rugs whenever possible.
That is absolutely true. Alright, that said, thank you very much for watching Guys, Games, and Beer. And after this, it's Guys, Games, and Beer After Dark. Even though
But it's during the day.
during the day.
Mind.
Bye, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
for
watching.
joining
Have
us.
a good one.
This early shit.
All right.